here, we might do his thing. I'm going to have to change that, you know. Fucking Linda Lusardi and Jim McDonald. It's got to be changed, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's got to be changed. Fucking hellfire.
Hang on a minute.
Tuesday again. How come Tuesday's come round so quick?
It's Webby's fault, I've told you.
How's it my fault?
Look, Webby's on, so we can just blame him for everything tonight. It's ace. We don't have to take responsibility for anything.
Listen, I'm not blaming Webby for anything. All right, he's a mate of mine, a good mate of mine.
All right.
Anyway, I think we've got enough. We've got 29 now. It went from 3 to 29. So I'm going to play the intro.
Have you got 27 of your friends watching?
Me?
Yeah.
I ain't got 27 fucking friends.
That's what I was going to say. There's no way you've got 27 friends.
Right. We're going live.
Play that funky music back. Hubba hubba yum yum. It finished. It's finished.
It's still going for me.
No, it ain't. It's finished.
Listen to it.
We can only just hear it now.
Fucking
I'll tell you
hell.
what, he's not very technical, this bloody Holmes bloke, is he?
It's fucking. I tell you what, it comes on and there's a long delay, and I think to myself, is it playing everywhere else? And
What was it? I don't know what your sets must have been like, mate, when you were spinning them decks. Just hang on 1 minute. I've got this record somewhere.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, you're not far wrong. That's exactly what it was like.
Anyway, good evening. Welcome to Raconteurs News on a Tuesday night with not Mark Ceylon. The story being I got in touch with Mark Ceylon and asked him to come on. He said, yeah, I'll come on, no problem, mate. And then 2 hours later said something's come up. So we've not got Mark Ceylon on, and I think that's probably the last time I'll ask him. So we've got a brilliant replacement, a better replacement than we could have dreamed of. But before we introduce him, I think we should introduce our co-host. Good evening, Aid Hardy. How long till your holiday, and are you counting?
Long time.
Long time.
Hey, listen, I've got, well, good news and bad news, really. I've got my house sitter sorted. So I've got somebody moving into my house for while I'm away, which is great. It's one of my mates. He lives with his mum, and he's still going to be looking after his mum, but he's going to be living here.
Wait, it's Taylor. Taylor's coming.
No, not Taylor. No, and I'm not. No virgins in my house. But you know the little dog that I look after for one of my neighbours.
Yeah.
Well, my neighbour had somebody to look after the dog because they're going on holiday for 10 days in the middle of my holiday. And I don't think that the dog sitters are going to come through. So they told me today that they're going to have to send Rolo to the kennels, which don't really please me. So anyway, but I'm just a big softy for doggies, though, aren't I? Really? So
Danielle knows somebody who's going to come round and try and fucking beat some fucking obedience into our dog. Because I told you what happened yesterday, didn't I? You fucking I'd got him on his lead, and I were outside Co-op, and I put him, you know, where they have these pillars outside, so I tied him up to a pillar. When I came out, I'm leaning over on my scooter, and this old woman thinks that I'm struggling to try and get over it. Comes over, and guess what? He had a fucking chunk out of her.
Oh, fuck.
So I'm fucking. He's really in fucking bad books. Really in fucking bad books at the moment. So we've got somebody coming to try and sort him out. Hopefully it will take only a couple of lessons, but the little git. Honestly, he's fucking elite. Oh. He'll eat anything. Anyway, so Mark Ceylon didn't happen. It wasn't happening. It was never going to happen. He completely hates Raconteurs News. But we've got somebody even better in my book. Used to be on Raconteurs News with myself. And he does his own show, the Webster Report, which he says he's not done anything since Christmas, but he's going to be doing that sort of thing. And he's got a green screen as well, so he fits in with the gang. We are the Green Screen Gang. Good evening, Paul Webster. How are you doing, mate?
I'm good, thanks, Jace. Nice to be here. Yeah, when you say green screen, you went and spent money on like proper stuff. I went to the materials shop and brought 2 meters of green fabric. Not the Mark Ceylon show.
Can you get a little bit closer to your mic, because you're a bit just a wee bit quiet. We'd like to. It's not the Mark Ceylon show. That's what Amy's trying to say there. It's not the Mark Ceylon show. It's Raconteurs News, and we've got Paul Webster on. Paul, tell us what you've been doing recently, and you've got these meetings that are happening. You were telling me beforehand they're going quite well. People are coming from quite far away to attend your meetings, and you're able to educate people into things that perhaps they weren't. Will you stop it, Ada? We're stupid. It's not fucking blankety blank, you know.
Quick, draw a bunch of flowers.
So yeah, just get some of that. I forgot where I were, but I think you can remember general gist. But get some of how that's going.
Yeah, like I said, I've not done many of the shows because work and just taking some time out. It's been nice to like I was saying before, doing nothing. We've still got a court case ongoing. Royal Courts of Justice sent our council tax stuff back up to Manchester, and Manchester have been sat on it now for a few months. But we've got word last week that it's now going to be put forward for a date. Hopefully, then we can, really turn things up with the council tax. It's got teeth. It really has got teeth. What that we put together with that. As regard the meetings, it was just the same half dozen so people that have always attended the meetings, which were the core of what the meetings that Rob Bollocks started many moons ago over in Ashton there. I don't know what Rob does these days. I know he works about a lot, but that meeting carried on by the odd people who kept it going, and then we just started up there because that's where everybody knew where to go. After working on these cases, we decided that we've got a lot of great information that sometimes doesn't get out to people, especially the ones who are actually doing stuff. So we had a couple of lads come down from Teesside, a couple came up from South Wales, quite a few have come over from Manchester and the surrounding areas. One guy, I was able to give him the information about the gyro credits because he'd been, and this was the last reason, the last video I did was because there was a couple of guys going live on Facebook throwing my name and holding up the utility bill and saying, this is how you do it, you endorse this. And they're holding the wrong instrument up. And the guy who was working with the instruments, he found it interesting to understand that there's 2 instruments that the utilities companies were sending out. One was basically just a pay-in slip attached to an invoice, and one is a check. You obviously want the one with the check. If you're trying to endorse just a payment slip, then you're giving out massive false information. And if that gets into a courtroom, like I said, Jason, you've got to get rid of all the shite that somebody losing and trying an argument with a payment slip, endorsing a payment slip. It's you've got to take all that away before you can actually present your remedy then, because they only stand under that. But other than that, mate, it's just been work, chilling out. There's a few personal issues coming up towards Christmas last year that, things like that need dealing with. And, I've always stayed in there's quite a few people I've been in phone conferences with, people from all over the country, from a guy from Hull who wants me to go over to do some talk over there. I'm more than willing to do all that, but it's just trying to find all the time. I mean, you know, you've got your personal stuff going on as well. I mean, Jason, you know all about that. There's not a lot else that you could have fitted in the last 12 months, 2 years, is there?
No, definitely not. I mean, sorry, I just had to unmute my mic then. I'd muted it because I was going to fart or something. But yeah, it does. I mean, if you've got a full-time job, when you've got a full-time job, and I know that what I do is not really a full-time job, but I'm really stuck here. And so it can be difficult difficult to motivate yourself. I think that's the part of it. The main part of it is to motivate yourself. This afternoon, when I was this morning, I felt crap. I've come and had my leg rebandaged because I have it done every day, and I took some Oromorph before they came and did it. But I only had a really small dose. It's made me feel crap all day, and I've just been sort of laid there and snoozing. And my missus has got really, really jealous. She's at work having to at work, and I'm here just snoozing. Just from the chat room, Tazzy M said he will happily come and train me and help Watson out. So
hang on a minute. Jason, how long have you and I known each other?
I didn't know we were quizzing.
Well, I've just got to say, Jason is not for training. Danielle will confirm that. The dog, he's mental, but you've got more of a chance with the dog than you have with Jason.
Well, I hope not. Anyway, Liverpool, we're going to win the league.
Oh, don't know now. We might have lost it all now. We got beat 3-0 at the weekend.
What in Chelsea now, are they?
Yeah, they're losing at the minute.
Are they?
Yeah, it's only FA Cup.
We've got Manchester City on Wednesday, I think. So looking forward to that. It's going to be on BBC. I don't know, Duck. I don't care whether United are playing tonight. Fucking United.
Champions League.
Eh?
We're placing Champions League.
Oh, shut up.
All I've got to say is, on Sunday, if you go to Cardiff, it's going to be orange.
Right, okay, why?
Because the Sheffield Steelers play in orange, and it's the Challenge Cup final in Cardiff against Cardiff, because it doesn't matter who's in the final, it's at Cardiff, right? It just happens that Cardiff are one of the finalists and Sheffield's the other one. So the idea is that the only colour that's going to be in Cardiff on Sunday is orange. Lots of high-vis orange.
Okay.
All the Sheffield guys are just going to orange out Cardiff. So if you're in Cardiff on Sunday and you see orange, it's ice hockey.
Kick its head in.
Kick it.
Grab it and kick its head in, and then
you won't understand because it's ice hockey.
Ice hockey violence in audience. I mean, that would be awesome, that, wouldn't it? Dean Yates has put a question in the chat room. When and where's your next meeting, Webby?
It's Thursday at the Presidential in Ashton, Wigan.
The Presidential, that sounds posh.
Yeah, it's an American bar.
Oh, is it? Is that what it is?
It's an American theme bar in Ashton.
Have they got rid of gas lamps in Ashton yet?
Oh yeah, they've all got those new LEDs.
They've got them new LEDs now in Ashton.
Oh yeah, yeah, of course they have.
Have they worked out that they actually need to plug them in?
Well, hey, they're all plugged in, mate. They might not be plugged into the right people's, but they're all plugged in.
Oh dear.
So I'm definitely the first one to bring it up.
What?
No, hey, whoa! I've noticed a problem with that. There's only one bill of exchange.
That's true.
Oh, right.
I said it.
It's a bill of exchange. It's a bill of exchange.
I said it.
So, Webby, what in the news has caught your eye? What's been because I see you post quite a few different things. You're well known for that, and then you always have to apologise sometimes. That it's like might be from 2012, but it's relevant today. What's been catching your eye? I know there's coronavirus, but what's it fucking covering? Is it trying to stop people from finding out about all the stuff that's going on in Italy and France and all around Europe, or what's it designed to do?
Well, basically everything what you've just hit on, but where do you stop with it, Jace? Because you've got now saying that it's spreading through cash. Well, that's a good reason to get rid of cash, make a cashless society. You've got all the cover-ups what you're talking about, but the main stuff for me is you've got the market losing something like 300 million or 300 trillion, in a day because of the corona, and then they make that back up the next day. They're selling pandemic bonds that people can actually make money in this thing going up and down, mainly down. Go on, Ed.
I've got the alternative to losing 30 trillion in a day. These things are £1 for 2 packets normally.
What, Durex?
No, they're handwiped.
I don't wear Durex. He has a bottle of Sterident next to the bed, and he just uses it wipe afterwards.
Just dip it in, right? These things, £1 for 2, right? I have these in my car, just like most people, in the glove box, just in case, you're treading dog shit, or I don't know, you go to some minger's place and see, and they probably last you a month, and they're like 2 packets for £1. Whenever I once went on a flight and I saw somebody change a shitty nappy on one of them fold down tray things, what you sit in your aeroplane seat, and I just thought to myself, I wouldn't want to be the next businessman that got on the next flight and ate his breakfast off that tray. So whenever I go on a flight, I take a packet of these. Right,
Johnny's.
No. Hand wipes, right? Just chuck away hand wipes. 2 packets for £1. And I'm sure you can get 10 packets for £2 if you look hard enough, because they're like, they're no other. You go on eBay now, 1 packet, £25.
You can't get it anywhere, can you?
Yeah, there's a lot of entrepreneurs.
So, listen.
Screwfix have sold out nationally. Screwfix have sold out of paper masks nationally.
Fuck the stock market and my pension fund that's dying as we speak. All we need to do is get hold of some of these and flog them for £25 a packet on eBay. Because that's what everybody... Honestly, I'm not joking. £25 people are putting these up on eBay. But it's all right. Don't worry about it because it's free postage.
But nobody's buying them, though, are they? At £25 a fucking packet?
Yeah, they are.
Jesus Christ, you might as well lick your hands clean.
They are, honestly. They're buying them. Because I went in my local chemist today, and all I wanted... I've got a bloody... root canal and shit. I've got to go to the dentist again tomorrow, and I wanted some of that antiseptic mouthwash because it's giving me a bit of stick. Right, £4, and I went, "Oh, have you got any of them hand wipes?" She went, "Hand wipes? Wish we could." What do you mean? And what do you mean? She says, "We can't get hold of any. 6 week lead time. 6 weeks lead time, just because people believe all that shit they see on the BBC."
Yeah, and it's fucking madness, isn't it? It's absolute madness. But how much of it is invented? How much of it is they've stopped supplying them?
Yeah,
I mean, I saw today on a social media site where a member of a staff at a supermarket had taken a photo, and this TV company had taken everything off the shelves and were doing filming saying the shelves were empty because people were panic buying. So how much of it is real and how much of it isn't? Because I've not seen fucking anybody. I see nurses every day, and I mention coronavirus, and they just it's a load of bollocks.
I saw a news report today. This customer that I was sat with, she's not quite as cynical as me, but she's close, right? And local calendar news come while I was sat on a sofa doing some paperwork with her, right? And she just looked round and we went, look at, and she actually turned the volume up. And I think it was calendar local news, which is what we get kind of in Yorkshire and whatever. Anyway, There's this this news. Hang on, reporter. In the car park at the local supermarket. Hello, madam. Have you bought anything extra? Have you been panic buying because of the coronavirus? No, not really. On to the next one. Next question. No, I've just shopped normally, really. Went round 4 or 5 people in the car park loading the bags in, and then she said, as you can see, people are panic buying. And I'm thinking, did she not fucking listen to the people that she'd just been talking to? Because they all said, no, not really. We just buy as normal. And thankfully,
big shop.
Well, thankfully, people are not. Yeah, big shop. Thankfully, people are not panic buying apart from these. So,
Johnny's. Panic buying Johnny's.
No, they're not. They're too small for Johnny's.
Not for you, Ada.
Would you carry a pack of those Johnny's to like McDonald's to put your input into the machine so you could get your food? Because that's meant to be covered in all kinds. Corona must be on there.
Couple of things. Firstly, I wouldn't even spit on a McDonald's. Secondly, I only ever use cash. And thirdly, that no, I won't. I'd check out.
Well, what you gonna do with all that when they get rid of the cash aid? I mean, you work with cash.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do when they get rid of that because of this coronavirus now? I mean, they passed legislation it must be about 2 weeks ago now that the police have special powers to detain and quarantine anybody that they suspect of having coronavirus. Now, I'm pretty sure that doesn't just mean a copper can hear you sneeze and wrap you up and take you away, but how close are we to that? You know, a lot of people don't understand, because you can still choose to have chocolate or strawberry milkshakes. You've got freedom here. That we've been under martial law for 300 years. People don't understand what that is because they think it means there must be army on the streets stopping you, asking you for papers.
Webby, I want to ask you a question. I don't know if you can clear this up or not. This is my bad memory, and I'm seriously not having a laugh or trying to catch you out. But I think it's you that's told me this in the past. In the morning, 2 members of the House of Commons or Parliament, one asks the other, are we still at war? The other one confirms it, and then they say they can carry on with the day's business. Can you remember which 2 official bodies that is?
I know what you're referring to, but I don't ever remember saying that. Yeah.
I've got something like Black Rod and the Speaker or something like that.
There is it's all role play, isn't it?
Yeah,
wherever it is.
Yeah, I've even tried to look for it and I can't remember what it is. But I actually,
the Privy Council.
It's something. It was told to me by when I oh God, I hate saying this. I worked in the House of Commons when I just did a couple of weddings for people, and it was the entertainment shit that I did. And I remember asking, and they'll like give you a bit of a tour when you go for the first time, like you're fucking bothered, but you got to pretend you are. And they told me that, and I can't remember what the hell it is. So if anybody can remember, stick it in the chat room. But apparently, so that they can carry on collecting council tax, which of course is a military tax, it's a tax of war. Because when they send things to the occupier, it's occupied territories, occupied France, occupied. It's all a term of war. They need to confirm that we're still at war in order to carry on collecting to furnish the war.
It's because the business agreements and all commerce comes under UCC maritime law.
Yes.
So it's all military, and then the martial law was the income tax. That's
right.
How they can take income tax from my wage. But the council tax it's just they've got you to agree to a business tax on a property that you don't live in.
Yeah.
That's all they've done. And for me, all the other arguments where people are talking about, you know, how the councils should take that liability because it's their tax. So we should offset it all to the council, which is how it's meant to be done. But the councils don't exist anymore. They are businesses, several businesses operating out of one business that call themselves the council. And they're all individual business agreements, and it's enforced by that military. So, you can see what they're doing, but you know, people just, I've seen people posting today that because the army is going, some of the army could be used for unrest because of forced vaccinations and things like that.
Yeah.
And the coronavirus is creative. I mean, as Jason said, there's quite a few articles showing where shelves have been cleared so they could take photographs of a normal, plentiful shop. You know, so we haven't got a fucking clue what's going on. All we can do is theorize about what is happening before our very eyes, but a lot of it is being told to us by very well-known liars.
Yeah.
So if you haven't got a question about known liars, what does it say about you?
Yep. Did you listen to Bex and Karen last night, Webby? Were you listening last night?
Yeah, I was listening to most of it. I was on and off because, like I said, it was my last night was Sunday, so I've done 7 nights on.
Oh, right.
Stayed up all day yesterday, so come 8 o'clock, I was like in and out of this reality, mate.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm just reading that actually when you just posted it up, Jason. Just read that out because I think that's a good one, Jason.
Yeah, it says eBay. It's from Lopsumanthro, and it says eBay requests that all sellers who have live listings offering items such as face masks, hand sanitizer gels or wipes, etc., review their listings and make sure that they comply with eBay listing policy.
Yeah.
So that's thanks for that. And just to set a Eve. No, that wasn't Danielle sneezing. That was Danielle letting the dog out of the back door because he fucking bites the fuck out of everything that comes in his way. So when you open the back door, he's like, and he's biting the door. And then he goes outside and we've got some bags outside that has got rubbish in and he bites the fuck out of them. And
well,
then
he doesn't bite me. He bites Heath, but he doesn't bite me, does he?
Oh, no, he don't bite you. No, he bites Heath. We've got people coming in as well. To do some building
renovations.
Well, yeah, well, not really renovations because I ain't got them already. Just put a lift in and do my bathroom. So I don't know what he's going to be like then, but he's a fucking utter cunt. I think Watson would like super leads as well. Loads of things. Oh, people in chat room just say Keith M popped in the chat room earlier on, and he just said that he asked if people would be gentle with him because he's had a couple of cats die recently, and he's got 2 more that seem to be on the way out. They are over 20, but obviously these cats have been his companions or his or her companion. Keith M, I would imagine it's a he. His companions for quite a long time. So we're all thinking about you there, and we wish the cats well as they get. Is it the Rainbow Bridge or something that they go over, pets? Yep, Rainbow Bridge. There you go. We wish them well on their journey over the Rainbow Bridge. And also, Owen said in the chat room he's glad to see Webby back. It made his day.
Nice one, Owen.
Fucking hell, what a shit day. Webby, we need to know, have you had your haircut or is it just cold in Bolton?
Both.
He's not in Bolton.
Haircut as well.
What? He's not in Bolton. Where are you, Webby?
He's in Lee.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, Lee. Yeah.
Not in Bolton, mate.
Mm.
But I'm on right side at Pennines.
You're on the right side at Pennines, you good lad. No, you're not.
Yeah, you're right side at Pennines. You're on the opposite side to me. That's fucking right side.
I'm going to say, do you know why they built the Pennines? Do you know why they built the Pennines? Keep you Lankies out of bloody Yorkshire. That's what it was.
Mate, none of us want to get over there. We keep getting dragged to Yorkshire, mate.
I don't know. It's fucking. It's nasty. Anyway.
Can I just say as well? I had a comment last night that people were missing my my wall behind me because now we've got these greeny things. They don't see me wall, and they quite like me graffiti. So I've actually got a green screen image of me wall. Well, it's not my wall, but it's the same thing that's on my wall behind me because people were saying they were missing it. So I thought I'd put it up tonight.
Well done, Edith. Thank you very much for that. We're all more...
Well, take it your green screen's up permanently then.
No, I just...
Why did you bother putting it up then?
That's the point. Shall I take it down?
No, don't bother. Let's just leave it as we are.
All right.
For fuck's sake.
Okay,
We've got a vibrant chat room again as well. Nubians in there. Good evening to you, Keith M, Apple Charlotte, George, Tazzy M, Shield Destroyer's in there. Owen is in there as well. Nubian, I hope you're feeling okay, Owen. Prayers out to you, mate, and all the best to you. Bright 77, who is a little bit of an enigma. Bright 77, right? Some stuff that we can't really understand. I don't know what it is. Look, hazy. I mean, what's hazy mean? Does it mean hazy or tea? See what I mean? A little bit cryptic, old Bright there. So
what does hydrospores mean?
The what? Sorry,
hydrospores is wrong.
Hydrospores.
That's what he's written there. He's written hydrospores. I don't know what that means.
Jason looks like he's swaggering away from blowing up a petrol station. No, all it is, he's just got steam coming out of his ears. That's all it is.
And fire. Fire comes out of this. It's Raconteurs News. We've got fire in our bellies. Come on then.
Jet-propelled wheelchair.
What's I know you're on your Facebook page, you always have these cryptic things, and I just want to know, are you a flat earther?
Me?
Yeah, you. No, AD. I know AD's a fucking flat earther.
Who is me?
Yeah.
I don't know what I am because I can't go up there and have a look.
My official answer.
Sorry, I've got it written down here. I read it wrong. AD's a fat earther.
There you go.
Are you a flat earther, Webby?
My official answer to that is I haven't got a clue what shape this reality, this realm, whatever this is. I haven't got a clue because, again, known liars have told everybody that this is what it is. And when I've asked simple questions of people who are meant to know a lot better than me, it's our best guess. So when I've still got questions, I have to not debunk, but I've certainly got to take away a bit of faith in what I've been taught. You know, known liars have given me false information for a lot of different things. Why wouldn't I question something like that? But one of the best things I've heard is, what does it matter? You know, it doesn't matter what we live on. Well, it does if people are telling us that something that could be fundamentally wrong. Yeah, I think that matters. Well, I can't say that it is flat. I mean, all I can say is that over a certain amount of distance, there should be a curvature of where I shouldn't be able to see it. And, you know, you can only count for refraction or something like that so many times. When you're talking about 2,500 feet of curvature, what something should be behind, yet I put my camera up and zoom in and, oh, there it is. This is either some magnificent convex technology that I'm still yet to understand. There's something not right. There's absolutely something not right. There's nothing cryptic about it. I post a lot of different things that I have questions for. People, one of the funniest things is that people read posts and then all of a sudden they make that assumption about you, and you are this and you are that. You know, people who've been knowing you on Facebook for 4 or 5 years and they think they know you. It's very, very rare I post my opinions and have strong opinions on things, because I enjoy seeing the chat build up and see different people's different opinions, and then you see the ones who come in to just fuel fires of argument, and you know that takes people off on a different tangent. That's why if you're going to talk about flat Earth, I'll talk about it all day, but let's not get stuck down in that, because there's so many more magnificent lies. A bit like bills of exchange. You know, I was taught that banks lend money and you've got to pay bills. Fundamentally wrong. absolutely and utterly in this system fundamentally wrong to pay a bill in a debt-based economy. What with set-off debt means getting rid of it and balancing the Treasury's creditors' books. That makes more sense to me than operating as something that fundamentally makes my life harder. So those same people who rape all the equity and live off the backs of people are the same establishment that told me that I live on a spinning ball at 1,000 miles an hour on a wobble. All the stars don't change because there's so many miles, billions and trillions of miles away. We can't perceive the movement of those stars. It's, you know, vacuum against an atmosphere with no barrier.
It's a whole fucking bag of. It's just a whole bag of fucking. Also, I mean, we'll continue to talk about it. It is one of the most fascinating things post the Mandela effect. I think it's probably the most fascinating thing that I've ever come across. But I just want to make a couple of points that were put in the chat room. Somebody told me that Bright77 has hydrocephalus. Now, I don't know what that is, but we're not taking this. Sorry?
Water on the brain.
Right, okay. And I hope that's true. Well, I
No,
don't hope that's true. But but anyway, so we're not taking piss out here, honestly. We don't take piss out of anyone, really, apart from fucking Taylor, do we?
Each other.
Really. You know, we don't. We're not at that. And also, there was something else as well. And I can't fucking. No, they weren't. I just wanted to make that point anyway. So, welcome to the chat room and keep on. George says hydrocephalus sounds like an energy drink. And Dean Yates says, JC emailed you that about a month ago, and you know how terrible I am at emails. I am fucking crap. Honestly, I am crap. And if I'm feeling rubbish and I get an email, and generally I forget about it. So, space, NASA, ISIS. Oh, Aidy's got his hand up. That is one of the things. He's like, you know, he's got his hand up in school. I'm going to throw my rubber at you, my board rubber at you in a minute if you don't keep putting your hands up. Go on, Aidy.
He's got a packet of them.
Well, no, quickly. Somebody said what happened to Mark Ceylon tonight. This is not the Mark Ceylon show, but I just thought I'd bring him along just so you could see. That is what he looks like.
Oh, yeah.
That is him, I promise you. No, just getting back to the flat earthy thing. Whatever has happened in the past few weeks with Max Egan, one thing he said on, I don't know if it was when he was on with us or one of the other videos I watched recently. He said, well, whether it's flat or round, what are you going to do? Get off. And I kind of get that. That does make sense to me. But the thing that bugs me about flat, round, whatever, is why would they lie to us? And that's what pisses me off. Somebody somewhere has got an agenda to lie to us, either about it being flat or about it being round, and there's always a reason of who benefits. So it isn't so much what shape it is or whether you want to get on or get off or stay on. It's why are they telling us one or the other? That's the.
Well, if we'll never have an answer. Round, it's because it's round. If it's round, they're telling us it's round because it's round. If it's flat, I don't get why they would then go. I don't know because this bloke then just went suddenly. Was it Galileo who said Galileo figure? It went. Hang on a minute. Look, I've done these sums and it's fucking round. And and everyone just goes like, all right, then no problem. It's only one guy. I suppose there were other guys that looked at it and thought, well, I can't fucking work that out because Galileo was like cleverest bloke in the world, and how am I supposed to work out what he's doing? What he's putting? Sorry, I'm getting a kiss. I can't get. And it's just I don't know. I don't know why the lie would be. I don't know why the lie would be. But then again, I can't work out whether it's flat or round.
But Tazzie's got
it takes away a creator God.
Yeah. That's a good point, Webby. It does, yeah. Tazzie's put a good comment in. it's a conversation. Sorry, yeah, it's a conversation to get us all confused and argue about it. And like I've said before, you know, we should all be sticking together, not arguing amongst ourselves, because it really is us against them, whoever them are.
That's what I mean. Why would you argue finer points about something none of us know? We've got questions. That's well, I have anyway. I've got questions. Some of them, like I said, have been really childlike questions. I asked a guy with letters after his name about the atmosphere and the vacuum. How does it exist? How does the atmosphere not go all sucked out into space? And he said that the air molecules, dense down on Earth's level, as they rise and rise and rise, they dissipate into a vacuum. So they get less and less and less until it becomes a vacuum. And I asked, well, does that not impact on relativity, where we think an aeroplane is moving at 1,000 miles an hour on the runway? When it takes off and it gets to its cruising altitude, it's moving at 1,500 miles an hour relative to the Earth. But if the air molecules are less and less, does that not create a drag factor? Would it not impact on that? And his answer to me was, it's our best guess. So from the theory of the Big Bang, from the Big Bang theory, which is a theory, to evolution theory, relativity theory, gravity theory, all of that is our best guess because it works in maths. And yet, how many times have I said that in maths, an elephant can hang off a cliff with its tail tied to a daisy? Just because mathematics says that that's possible, we've got to then transfer that into real life. It's like the management of all public sector offices now. It all runs on paper, Aid. You know, if it works on paper, then it works. But you take that paper into real life, none of it works, mate. Health and safety fails everywhere in real life.
Yeah, of course. I can't remember if it was it Newton or I don't think it was Tesla, but it was one of the well-recognized scientists of, and basically what he said was that there are nobody who does research anymore, just people who do mathematics.
Yeah.
And there was no science. They just tried to prove their own theories just by doing maths, not by doing the appropriate maths to find out the reason.
That it was Tesla that said that science has taken a dangerous turn, gone off on a tangent after mathematical equations, which is not reality.
Yeah.
And it's simple. It's very simple. It isn't reality. There's a lot of things in maths that could work, but we can't do it. It doesn't work in reality. And like I said, it's like health and safety now lives in a paper world. And we know that paper world is fictional, all of it. So if it's okay on paper, it's like standing outside where you work and it's burning to the ground and you're stood there holding a picture of sunshine and lollipops in front of you saying, look at how well we're doing. It doesn't transfer to reality. That's right. So if you've not got questions, though, you're not thinking. And I get that, you know, we're kept very busy. You know, we're paying our bills and, you know, Strictly Come Dancing's on and all that kind of stuff. I get that we're all distracted, but at the end of the day, you've got to, if you care about your children, stop worrying about what they're going to be doing this weekend, the footballing or the rugby or the championships that they're training for, all that kind of stuff. That's all well and good, but I have to say, I've never known in my tenure that the world ever being in such a dangerous position everywhere. You see, we live in some very, very bad times at the minute.
We are at the moment, but if you think about what, I mean, when I was a kid, it was all CND, the Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament. We'd got the threat of the Cold War. You know, we'd got the Russians with God knows how many, or the propaganda of God knows how many bunkers underground full of nuclear weapons. And then we got the Cuba thing. And, You know, and it just went on and on and on and on. But, you know, they can't kill people like that anymore, so they've got to invent viruses instead, haven't they?
Yeah, very much. Well, it's I don't think it's anything new. One of the specific things that they seem to have always at least tried to at least not tell us the truth about is our history. If we don't understand our history, if we haven't got a foothold of history, then that creates problems for us because we don't know where we've come from. We're coming from a false dichotomy. You've got to, and that doesn't mean the history that you've just been taught. You've got to go and read other people's histories, other people's versions of events, and then you've got to be able to think critically, put yourself in the times and what was going on. It's very convenient and coincidental that for the last 400 years, 300 years, every 100 years we've had a major so-called pandemic that's going to wipe out the population of this planet. I said to Jace earlier that the Express has now said that there's an asteroid heading this way, and if it hits us, we're all dead. So it's all. I mean, you touched on what Max was saying after he'd been scrambled, and Max was saying about the Earth being flat or round. It's whatever you believe it will be.
Yeah.
Well, you put yourself into a state of fear. You're going panic buying. You're putting yourself into a state that, if the way Max was talking, that this reality is going to reset, well, you'll reset and carry on from where it resets. So what are you building? What would you be building for yourself if it's all about fear, if it's all about zombie apocalypse, if it's all about viruses?
Fucking zombie apocalypse is fucking here.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Well, when you look at the Dean R. Koontz book that talked about the Wuhan virus will be released in 2020, back in 1981, you know, I remember my ex-wife was a big Dean R. Koontz fan, and she had that on paperback. And when I sent it to her and she looked at it, she went, "God, you brought back some memories there." She's gone and bought that book again on Kindle. And people say you can't write it. The Simpsons have done a pretty damn good job of writing the future. I don't know where Matt Groening gets all his ideas from.
And then, of course, there's the one before 9/11. What were it called? The Lone Gunman. That's which aired in March 2001, which had a government that had taken over a plane to crash it into World Trade Center to blame it on some terrorists.
Yeah.
Right.
So just have a look at that. It was a spin-off from X-Files. So if you haven't seen that, just have a look at that. It's called The Lone Gunman 9/11. Just do that in your favorite search engine. Your favorite search engine.
Put it in JoeTube. You'll get the clip up straight away.
JoeTube.
Yeah, I can see it.
I did a Google search for Webby and found one of Donald Duck's grandchildren.
Why is he upside down?
Webby reacts to the Disney Channel.
Yeah.
It looks like he's that duck. It looks like it's upside down. Its arms in there. Well, it's been abused by its Uncle Donald.
Very much so.
Do you think that works?
No.
I think it's down at the lodge that Wednesday night.
Yeah.
No. Animal Kingdom, though. What do you think? Do you think that they have paedophiles in that?
On Animal Kingdom.
Animal Kingdom. Animals. Is there animals that will go around and, abuse other animals? Baby animals. Should we get off this? Let's go on to something else.
Do you want to talk about Israel?
Let's talk. I've had a disaster tonight because of this fucking stupid lighting. I've got this book, and I write in black ink in this book. This is my black ink book. Now tonight, I've picked up the fucking blue one by mistake, so I've been writing in blue. So now it don't look right, and I'm a bit OCD-ish. David Stanley, he said, look at me reading from my book. Look, my book.
How many pictures are in that book, mate?
No, it's my book. It's my writing book. It's where I
Hey,
put me. It's my journal. And,
Is
and
it
by the
joined up
way,
and all that? Is it
I've
joined
got
up
an A to
writing?
Z. I've got an A to Z of fucking conspiracies that me and Adi didn't even get nowhere near finishing the other night. We'll probably do a few of them a little bit later on.
I think we got to see.
Yeah, David Stanley says rabbit hole after rabbit hole just to keep us from finding the truth. Now, I mean that could be true. I mean, there is so many things that if you want to research, because they're so interconnected, one will take you to another, and then take you to another, and take you to another, and it's designed like that, isn't it? It's almost as if it's designed like that. Well, I think it is just to keep us.
Every rabbit hole, go down every rabbit hole. Doesn't mean you have to stay down there and scratch your balls, but go down everything. There's not one rabbit hole I will not go down. But to go down there and sit there and just go, the earth is flat, the earth is flat, the earth is flat, the earth is flat, that's only part of this. How big a part that is, it depends on where you're at within, if you've got bailiffs knock on your door, the shape of the earth is not at the top of your list.
No.
In the morning, when I have a shower, I open the bathroom window and I've got one of them roaming around the thing. It's not here actually. Speaker.
Right? I can't get rid of, mate.
You are, and I've got a speaker. It sits on the window ledge in the bathroom, right? And it's connected up to my tablet. So most of the time, what I'll do is stick something on it. I don't know. It could be David Icke. It could be We Are Change. It could be Max Egan. It could be Webby. It could be anything. Right, and I try to pick something that I don't agree with anymore, or that I might have agreed with before, but and I try to pick something that challenges me. And one of my neighbours grabbed me about, I think it was Saturday morning, and he said, "You all right?" And I went, "Yeah, why?" He said, "Some of that stuff that I eat," and then of course I realised because I got the bathroom window open in the morning to let the steam out when I'm having a shower. He can hear next door what I'm listening to. He said, "You listen to some right stuff, you." He said, "Is that the sort of stuff that you think of?" I went, "Well, I don't agree with it all." He says, "Well, why do you listen to it then?" I went, "Because how can I know what I agree with?" Yeah, you've got to listen to stuff that you don't agree with because you might get your mind changed. I haven't mind changed more than once. And you've got to listen to stuff that, I've listened to flat earth, religions. I'm not a religious guy. I've listened to religion stuff, all sorts. And the only thing I would say is most of the time, not always, but most of the time, even if it's only a little bit of something, you learn from it.
Yeah.
Always.
Yes, of course you do. Of course you do. Even if you learn what not to listen to. I mean, people have different opinions on different people.
Of course.
Blazing Star says, "Don't fart loud, Ada." Don't know.
I thought they were quiet, but you never know.
George put, "I wouldn't listen to Max Organ in the knack. Way too erotic."
I think what he means is he's assuming I get in the knack when I'm in the shower. You see.
You see, that's the other thing as well. I'd just said to if my neighbour said to me, that stuff you're listening to when you're having a shower, I'd say, "What the fucking hell are you doing listening to me having a shower? You fucking dirty bastard."
You're not still wearing the full scuba outfit in the shower, are you?
No. I was going to wear one of them masks, but I couldn't get one, so I just had a bucket on me with 2 holes in it.
You mean the GIMP mask? You're going to get a GIMP mask?
No, one of them,
Says
yeah.
Long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you see a GIMP mask, all that is a black zippy. Isn't it? Off rainbow. And we should have all colours because the rainbow.
Is it not a zippy of colour that we can say now?
No, fuck that. I'm just going to say black zipper.
Do you know what gets me is? If there was a guy who you were trying to describe to us, there's a row of white guys, and in the middle there's a black guy who was called Bob. Which one of them guys over there is Bob? Would you say he's the one with the hat on? He's the one with the shorts on? Or would you just make it easy for yourself and go, "Oh, he's the black guy"? Because me being me, well, he's the black guy.
It's
because it's
Bob.
not an description.
we've got two people starting at our place, right? They've come from a firm where they both worked at before. One's called Black Joe and one's called White Joe, right? One's a female and one's a black fella, but they both are more than happy to be called, yeah, I'm Black Joe, she's White Joe. So that doesn't offend those people, yeah.
No, of course it doesn't. It's only fucking
Exactly.
dickheads on Twitter.
Yeah.
You know, them twats on Twitter that like, oh, get these campaigns up. The BBC report it because it's got hashtag fucking, hashtag fucking pity me. And then there's some sort of fucking, they get onto BBC, start reporting on it, and it gets ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's just
look at
ridiculous, but it's falling apart because people aren't fucking buying it anymore. This coronavirus, I don't believe that they've run out of all that shit. I don't believe it. I think they've just stopped fucking shipping it.
Yeah, me too.
Said, you can't have any. You can't have any for a while because there's money in scarcity, isn't there? That's why they had the fucking oil crisis in '73, were it?
Yeah,
make things scarce, put the price up. 25 quid for a fucking packet of wipes. But if you're some sort of neurotic person that believes the shit that comes out of the box that's hung on your wall, if you're lucky, but it's probably in corner, we're fucking from radio rentals, we're thinking back that you have to put 50p in every time. I mean, why?
But again, we talk about history, Jason. It's nothing new. They've always done this to us. Have you ever heard of what happened at Peterloo, at Manchester?
Oh yeah. 18, whatever. What was it?
19. I can't remember. 19 something. 1919, something like that.
Yeah, it was
World War One.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
I think it might have been early in that age. You might be right. I can't think off the top of my head. But they sent the army in to shoot people who could hardly read and write, but they understood that the products that they were paying over the top for were products that we were producing in this country, shipping out of this country, and then paying to have them brought back in. And that's why all this amount was being added. We couldn't buy direct. It's still happening over the cannabis licensed farms. The cannabis licensed farms that aren't, shall we say, doesn't have any members of parliamentary interests, those farms couldn't sell directly to the NHS, but they could sell abroad. But now they're slowly but surely being given contracts to be able to sell direct in this country. So this manipulation has always been something that they've had control of. Give me control of a nation's money supply. I don't care who makes its laws.
Can you remember, when the miners' strike was on? Kind of an off kick of that was that because there wasn't enough coke to run the coking plant and the continuous casting plant on Scunthorpe Steelworks, what they were actually doing was taking in steel, you get a bloom, which is basically a big blob of steel. Then they'll press it into a billet, which is just like it's not finished at all. It's just a raw material, really. But it's actually cut to the length of a trailer for a truck. So they come out the bloom mill, get squashed and cut into the right shape and also the right weight, so that when they put however many it is on a trailer, the trailer's not overweight and there's nothing hanging off the back. What they were then doing, and I was a driver's mate on a truck, they were taking billets from Scunthorpe Steelworks on a trailer pulled by a lorry up to Immingham and putting it on a ship. And then the next trailer we collected from Immingham to bring back to Scunthorpe was a coil of wire. And that was the steel that we took up the night before. And I'm not kidding. They were literally taking billets from Scunthorpe up to Immingham, sticking it on a boat over to Holland, rolling it in a rolling mill onto a big roll of wire, and bringing it back to Immingham on a boat, and then back on another lorry back down to Scunthorpe Steelworks. And they've got a perfectly good, and at that time, the biggest rolling mill anywhere in Europe at that time. It's just madness. And all they were doing, they were using the scarcity of coke or coal to do this. But in reality, there was loads of it. It was stockpiled. We were looking at it.
Look at what happened with the steelworks in South Wales, Ed. That all those steel workers took cuts. They took cuts in the wages in order to help keep the factory open.
Yes.
So they all took cuts in the wages in order to keep that factory open. 100 miles away, a bridge needed repairing, and they shipped the steel in from China 100 miles away to fix that bridge. So, you know, these fuckers have been doing this all this time. They've lied to us about virtually everything, or there's certainly lies within all of what they told us.
Yeah.
And yet people like us who are asking questions, good fucking questions, very simple ones, we're the ones that people would rather go, you're a dickhead. You're a dickhead. Your gas is free. You're a dickhead. Well, would you not want to know why? Would you not want to learn why you're going to pass that on to your children and these are going to keep on controlling your children? You wouldn't want to learn that. You know, why would you play a game where you always lose, but you think you know the rules, but even though you know the rules, you win because you've got a chocolate milkshake and not a strawberry one, as long as there's chocolate and strawberry to choose from. What if there's just strawberry? Are you still winning that game of freedom?
Well, you're free to do whatever you're you're free
What
to
did
do
they tell you?
whatever you want, as long as you're choosing from whatever the options they give you.
You do as we tell you.
Yeah. Look at that cynical bunch of bastards.
Aren't they a fucking right bunch of bastards? Well, we've done an hour, guys. We've got just another hour to go. Well, 58 minutes. It's certainly going off in the chat room. It's all been nicely in there. Unlike recent weeks where sometimes there's been a little bit of conflict, but it seems to have been sorted out by the people that are moderating in there. And thanks to those that do that do turn up week after week on Mondays and Tuesdays and do the moderation in the chat room. So we've got an hour left. What are we going to talk about?
What are you blaming me for?
Huh?
What?
I thought you was going to do an intermission then, because you had a song last night.
Yeah, it didn't work though, did it? Really?
No, not very well.
It sounded crap. Super Lead says the mods are shit. Oh, well, whatever.
He must be a punk.
He must be a fucking punk, a proper punk. Is a jive turkey. Super Leads.
Jive ass turkey.
He's a jive turkey. What do you reckon, Aid?
Look
at him.
Stars.
You know all he's doing, right? All he's doing is he's looking on fucking line for photos that he can have on his green screen that's going to make him look cool. And your mic's fucking muted and all for some reason.
It's not.
It is.
No, it isn't.
It is, honestly. Can't
No, it is not.
Shill Destroyers asked a good question about the latest Tommy Robinson escapade.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Whether it's true or not.
Do you know? I didn't even watch it, but it did come up on my feed. But I didn't even watch it. But you're gonna have to remind me what that was.
Well, apparently, somebody touched his daughter's arse in the swimming pool. And I don't know whether he confronted him or something happened or whatever, but it was reported. Police came along, didn't they? And I think they took him away. I don't know why they didn't take the pedo away, but I don't know whether
Tommy hit him. Tommy assaulted him, so Tommy got arrested for assault.
What are you going to do?
It's got him some coverage, though. It has got him some coverage. You know, there's no such thing as bad publicity, is there?
And you're right. It's probably a fake. It is probably a fake. It's probably it could be a publicity stunt. But if it is as it appears, then surely, I'm punching the guy in the fucking face. In fact, I'm more than doing that. I'm kicking his ass, and I've only got one leg. Yeah. So I'll be running. Oh, I didn't tell you, did I? I'll tell you, Webby. I don't know if you fucking knew. I fucking nearly fell into a pond on my mobility scooter. Honestly,
Yeah, but don't worry, you'd have only been electrocuted at 12 volts.
honestly, listen,
Slow cook.
it were a few weeks ago. I don't know if I've mentioned it, but I were in Graves Park near us, and Graves Park's got this. It's got this like pond, and it's in two parts, and so there's a pond, and then there's a like a concrete way that you go over it, and then there's a waterfall on the other side. So I got dog, and I took it right up to edge of the pond, and just to see what he wanted to do. Anyway, when I was fucking gonna reverse back, I went wrong way. I hit wrong way, so I went over the fucking edge at pond. So I'm fucking stuck there on edge of this with me front wheel, my right front wheel. He's gone over edge and it's in pond, and I'm teetering and I'm trying to fucking hold myself up like that. And then this gang of Asian youths came fucking running over towards me and fucking picked me up and lifted me out. Fucking hell, I tell you. Great fucking laugh. I tell you, it's being disabled. It's sorry, not disabled. I don't like to use that. It's offensive.
Being a
handicapped. Being handicapped.
Being a spaz.
Yeah, you get. Yeah, oh fucking hell! Honestly, I can't believe it.
You see, I think you should change your name, Webby.
What, to Bills of Exchange?
No, Bill of Exchange. That's it. That's your new name, Bill.
I've been called worse, mate.
He's not really brought it up tonight. We've been ones bringing it up tonight. I mean, to be fair, he's been great. He's got lots of different views on lots of different things, and we've just been talking about this Tommy Robinson thing. What's your personal view? Do you think it's all made up, or do you think that it's something that is an opportunistic?
Nothing. I don't think with Tommy, but anyway.
Whichever side he's playing for,
yes,
he's backed by some heavy people. There's no way that somebody's paying my legal costs from an Israeli think tank to help show people that the gas, water, and electric are free. Yeah, but he always goes on about this paedophilia, and it's always Asians, where there's plenty of non-Asians that are participating in this sick, twisted stuff. But he does have an angle, and you know, some people are already saying that it's. I've only watched it once myself. Some people are saying it's staged, and you know, but there is no such thing as bad publicity, and you know, there's a lot of people going to feel sorry for a fella who's defended his daughter against a fella who's touched her, and he's got that angry, he's filled him in, and then somebody goes and he gets arrested for doing that. So it's quite an improvement, that, you know, Jess.
I thought so.
Do it again.
Looks like I've got no head, doesn't it? Looks like I pissed Henry VIII off after fucking marrying him. Yeah, there is that element in it, and we're in such times where it's becoming more and more difficult to differentiate between what's real and what's fake.
I think the thing with Tommy Robinson, or whatever his real name is, was I can't remember, not in my lifetime, any other time when tens of thousands of people marched on London, stood at the gates of Downing Street, shouting somebody's name. So whether you believe it not, it's some kind of phenomenon that's working, yeah. So that people think they're protesting, but actually all they're doing is they're just when the opposition's controlled, all you're doing is following the controller. That's all you're doing.
I'd agree with that. Wouldn't you agree with that, Webby?
Yeah.
Yeah,
somebody
we all
did
agree
say,
with that.
I'm just trying to find it. Somebody in the chat room did say that Badly Drawn Boy was looking a bit rough tonight. If you don't know who Badly Drawn Boy is, I can't remember his real name, but Webby, you do look like him, I have to say.
Oh, Badly Drawn Boy. I've never heard of him. Never heard of him. I've heard of Badly Drawn Boy, but
Yeah.
You know, that was just what one of the teachers put on one of my artworks when I was in primary school. Junior school.
Well, that's exactly where he got his nickname from.
Oh, was it primary school? I can't remember. Anyway, I was crap at art. So where's all terrorism coming from then, Webby? Do you reckon it'll be after we've had this coronavirus thing, which is only going to last another couple of weeks, I think? You know, they all panic because they generally tend to move on to another thing. So more terror attacks in April. I saw something that made me sit up, and I can't remember what it were, but it was something to do with April. And obviously April's always been a big month for terrorist attacks. You know, you got Murrah Building, and your Oklahoma City bombings were in April.
I've been there.
Yeah. There's countless terror attacks that have happened in April. So do you think that's what's going to be next? And how long do you think this virus shit will fucking continue?
As long as it's working. You know, the coronavirus has spread through the media faster than it has through people. But along with everything, there's an article posted today that a 17-month-old baby has had coronavirus and got over it without any medication. So, well, why should we just buy into all this panic? Because they have passed legislation to detain people. They have passed legislation to possibly have mandatory vaccines. You know, how bad does it have to be?
I had a really so a friend of mine, Paul, pointed out to me today. So hello to Paul, because I know we don't go in the chat room. And Carl, neither do you, and Sharon, neither do you, and I don't blame you, but I know you always listen. On the phone today, Paul said to me about all the stuff that's going on, and he said, have you seen what they've said about how it affects mainly old people, and they're the ones that it kills? Me being me said, yeah, well, you know, the thing in China where they stop people having babies, so now them babies, the few that they did have are now 30, and there's not enough of them to pay into the Chinese system, so they're killing all the oldies off. And he said, yeah, but more than that, he said, this virus is supposed to kill the old and infirm, but the people that they're going to bring out of retirement are the older doctors and nurses to look after them. So the people that are most vulnerable from this so-called thing that nobody can take any tablets for because there aren't any that work, they're going to bring the old people who are used to looking after people back so that they can catch it and die as well. What a great scheme.
Sounds about right for them.
Yeah, and people believe it. Webby, did you watch that BBC thing that was on last night on coronavirus? I didn't, but it was on about 7:30, 8 o'clock last night or something.
No, but they're batting for this. If the BBC are batting for it, I'm going the opposite way straight away. Anything to do with them, I'm going the opposite way. It's too easy for me now to ask questions about everything. You know, it's quite difficult, Ed. I don't know if you found this out when you were first told about money, when Jason started to wake you up, the wrestling that goes on within yourself to accept that you might have been fooled.
Oh God, yeah.
Into something that isn't real. It's not. That's not how things are. You go through a grieving process, and I don't think there's that many people who want to go through that. They will defend what they've been taught, and most of the people, especially, it always seems to be people who've gone through university. They always point to if it's not in their books, it can't be real because they've been to university. And they have access to all the best information possible, don't they? Well,
I mean, I've said many times on here, when I first realized, I mean, I worked in money industry. I was an independent financial advisor. And when I worked, or when I kind of got through the money thing in my head, I honestly, I didn't talk to myself for 2 years. And I know that sounds stupid, but I really didn't. You know, we all have these internal conversations with ourselves in our own. I wouldn't talk to myself because I didn't trust myself anymore.
That's difficult, that, isn't it?
And I know it sounds stupid, but I mean it. I really didn't. I did not trust myself. But hey,
wow, it is part of it, though, isn't it? It is part of it. There's many ways to go through, and I'm really hoping that many people that are listening tonight have gone through all that. You know, gone through and come through, because it's difficult. You get this thing where you think you're so isolated. Nobody, fucking anyone around you, it thinks you're a fucking nutcase if you bring it up. So you self-censor. And then Webby fucking disappears. And then, you know, you think to yourself, he's a magician. He's just disappeared because he's a
he'll
magician.
be back in a minute. His internet will have just squashed off for a minute, won't it? Shall we say hello to a few people in the chat room, Jason? You're good at that.
Yeah, Alan McVicker's in there. No wonder, Aid, you... What's that?
You do look
You
dodgy,
do look
man.
dodgy, man. He's got you fucking...
I wouldn't trust me either.
Here we go. We've got him back.
Here we go.
Let me stick him on. There we are.
You being, you're dead right. Who benefits?
He's got his gyro behind him.
Look at that.
2 bits of information everybody needs.
What?
Hang on, let me put you on full screen.
The Santander logo, that's the corporate bank. That's how you know it's a check, with alongside that logo. Those
Right.
two, you've got a check. That needs endorsing. That's how you set debt off.
What success have you had doing that, Webby?
Mexican standoff, Aid. The only way that I can see us getting it to work and getting people to see that it works is because people want court paperwork to say this stuff. These people will not allow you as defendants to get through this. So I have to take a Part 8 claim against a utility company.
I'm going to say you've got to go to court as a claimant, really, haven't you? It's
Yeah. It's the only way. It's the only way, mate. And there's nobody who's done that yet. As I've said many a time, this was only just one of a few things that I was battling with in the last 10 years. But for the close people around me, I wouldn't be here to even talk about this stuff. So, you know, I don't sit here and pretend that I've done everything, Aid, but I present information that is true. And it's up to people to take it, leave it, fuck off. I don't care. I really don't anymore. When I was asking people to help me with this stuff, nobody was interested because it's too big a thing. And, you know, you're a dickhead if you think your gas is free. Yet here I am 10 years on. Nobody can show me any different. And people are asking me now, well, this works. How does that work? People are holding the wrong instrument up and trying to endorse the wrong instrument. Well, that all creates trouble for people. I mean, you know, we've had this great court case win over 5G in Gateshead. If that goes to a real court, and I don't mean that wasn't a real court, but if it goes higher and that gets lost, that creates a case law that you've got to get repealed before you can bring anything further forward about 5G being health-wise. So they create obstacles if you do it half-cocked. If you fuck up, you create trouble for everybody else who comes after you. That's why you've got to get these instruments right. But if you want to, you know, if people want to take this forward, I'll give them the information. But people have offered me thousands to take this on for them, so that my stuff wouldn't be at risk. But why would you do that? Other people need to know this stuff, not other people doing it for everybody.
So Webby, just explain to people in layman's terms the Bills of Exchange Act.
You can't explain it in layman's terms until people can understand that there is no such thing as money in a debt-based economy. We have a currency by the labour of this people, and this currency comes in a paper note that everybody recognises and everybody will accept as a promise for payment should they ever need to demand that payment. So you go to the shop and you promise to pay for a Mars bar. You get your Mars bar and walk out the shop all happy. Your promissory note is taken, put with the newsagent's promises, and he takes all those promises to the warehouse. He promises for the box of Mars bars for his shop. All those promises are gathered, put with the warehouse's promises, and they go to the factory who make the Mars bars. All those promises are taken, and the boxes of Mars bars is given to the warehouse. All those promises are turned into wages, and the worker at the factory is given promissory notes in the toil, sweat, and labour wage. They then go to the shop and promise to pay for the Mars bar. That is the economy. That's all the economy is. Because we've got debts issued from a collapse or from a bankruptcy, because we're in this trust that we are put into by our parents at birth when we're registered, to act properly in this trust, to be an officer or a citizen on the citizenship, you must learn how to act properly. But we are taught to act as a debtor because my mum taught me to work hard and pay my bills. Gas, water, and electric, national debts. I am promising to do something with the debt that is my obligation. I do nothing with that debt. So interest gets added to the national debt. The national debt goes up and the government step in and take shit off me. And I'm taught to allow them to do that by working hard and paying my bills. So the creditors' accounts books at the Treasury never, ever get balanced. They're always out of kilter. So interest is always being added to the debt. If you set off gas, water, and electric, you lower national debt, no austerity.
Yeah.
Why would you not want to learn something about that, Ed?
Yeah. And Shield Destroyer's just made a good point. We go into court under the assumption we're an infant. I mean, there's something like a dozen things that are assumed when you actually walk into a court. And unless you say otherwise, then you tacitly agree to those things. Like when they say, what's your name? Or tell the court your name, or state your name to the court. Well, if you say, I don't know, Bob Smith, you haven't just admitted that you're Bob Smith, the piece of paper. You've also admitted that you stood in a court where they've got jurisdiction over you.
Do you see what you brought up now, Eddie? I just brought that down to layman's terms. You've got blazing stars in the chat room saying, so you want a free ride, Webby? What am I not paying for in a debt-based economy? How the fuck can you have a free ride? You work as a creditor. There's only an economy because of you. You've got an obligation.
Your national insurance number is your employment number.
That is amazing. That is amazing, that comment. That's amazing.
You mean the blazing comment?
Yeah, that is absolute. That. If you can't understand a debt-based economy and money, you're never going to understand the Bills of Exchange Act. So there's no point. See, I'm using commodities. I'm not. I'm using services that I have shares in because I'm a creditor. All the businesses, all the commercial agreements pay for the service and maintenance of my grid. That's why, as we've been given the creditor status. We're right in the power echelons, but we don't. We act as debtor.
Yeah.
It's not hard. It really isn't hard to understand. Say again.
When people say, well, how do you get away with that? I'm not getting away with anything.
It's how
I've just learned how to pay for things that I don't have to. But, I don't sit here saying, oh, I don't pay for my gas and lecky, because I do. Because you've got to choose your battles one by one, and you choose them wisely. Because otherwise, the whole world and its shit will come falling on your head. So work out what you think you're going to have a go at, and have a go at it. Be it, I don't know, TV license, water, whatever. Doesn't matter what it is. Have a go at something, but one thing at a time. Because otherwise, you just end up with the whole world on your head.
Yeah,
you got the whole world on his head. He's got the whole wide world.
We'll end up with a copyright strike.
We will, won't we? Did you see that, Webby? I saw somebody who'd been doing guitar lessons on YouTube, and he's got like all these followers and stuff. And he does guitar lessons, and he did this particular guitar maneuver or whatever you fucking call it that was in a Beatles song. Now, somebody from the Beatles, from Sony, recognised that and copyright striked it. Just one chord. Just one chord. Fucking unbelievable.
There'll be a few, but I mean, Christ, what else is Oasis going on then? What the fuck is Oasis going on?
What, you mean CG and D?
Exactly. I think the Beatles used all those.
Yeah, but I think they used all three of them, didn't they? Yeah, CGD, 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 CGD.
Well, maybe that's it. I can't play the guitar ever again now then in case of copyright.
But what they do, you see, Oasis didn't do that. What they did GCD. But they capoed on the third fret, so it didn't sound like a GCD, but you know, the fretting was still the same. Anyway, sorry.
We need more CBD THC, I think.
There you go.
Well, we've gone from bills of exchange to aided fretting.
Yeah, no, we've had some comments. Like, I'm going to read a few of these. John Harris said a pound of what? Yeah, hang on a minute. Yeah, £10 of what? £10 of what exactly? It's a promise. It's nothing.
You can't claim anything off that. That is worth £10 of credit.
Yeah.
So unless somebody will accept your promise to pay them something, you're fucked. So if piece of paper's gone, what are you going to promise?
The initial thing to work out is how money actually comes into existence, or what we perceive as money, which is often not money at all. It's just a credit that's facilitated, because everything is credit, you know. But here's a good question, and I think it was Jason who said this to me many years ago. If every country in the world is in debt, which it is, who the fuck do we owe it to? Because if you've got 5 people in a room and all the money in the world is owned by or loaned by one of the 5, somebody's got to be in debt and somebody's got to be in credit. Well, if you've got however many countries there are and they're all in
well, what if Ed? What if to balance your credit account, you had to work in a certain system, and in order to balance that credit account, you had to act in a certain way and use certain instruments that they provide for you under the bills of exchange.
Yep.
Again, Blazing's just asked, how did I buy my hat? I promised to pay for this hat. I got the hat. That's it.
And you promised to wear it.
I did. It was actually this was actually a Christmas present or a birthday present. I don't know which, because my birthday and Christmas are that close together. That's for your birthday and Christmas. That. So I don't know if this was for Christmas or my birthday. But that's what I'm saying. People can't get past that point. You've got to get past the point of this money thing, paying for things. No, you're not paying. If I was paying, there wouldn't be any debt. But the best part of this system is that every 7 years you used to forgive debt, locally and nationally, because it's not conducive to a good economy. But if you can get everybody into a debt that they all believe, and they're all willing to just allow the property to be taken, property that you can't own in this system. So everybody who's bought a house has entered a business agreement for a piece of paper, a title to property, not to own property, a title.
I don't know if people can actually read that, but it just between my fingers. I mean, you've got to get a magnifying glass, and because I'm old, I've got one. And it actually does say, hang on a minute. I promise to pay the bearer on demand the sum of £10. Do I look like Marty Feldman in that really shit film?
do it out of your mouth and start talking. Go on, do it out of your mouth and start talking. No, a bit further closer. No, you back.
Yeah.
There you go.
It looks like my dentist in the morning is going to go, hello. I thought I might have one of them new 20s somewhere. Well, I don't know. Don't think
Well, I think if your dentist rings up, just say, listen, I'm going to get it done when I'm in Thailand with ladyboys.
Have I got? Oh, I've got a new 20. Hang on a minute. Let's have a look at what that says on it.
There's another thing as well, is they keep changing it, don't they?
You know why, don't you?
Yes, I know why. So that anybody that's got fucking money stashed at home,
Yeah.
like 200,000 fucking quid, you know, they're going to have to do something to get it fucking changed, aren't they? And then they'll go, oh, well, where did they get that from? They did it in India. They made the top denomination note, they made it illegal.
Yeah.
So everyone had to go and cash them in and get lower denominations. And, well, you know, at the banks, the taxman were weighing, you know, how come you've got all of this? And he went, well, you know, got a house and that. And
my son, who's like me, he washes cars, and so well, when I say washes cars, he valets Lamborghinis and stuff like that. Washing cars doesn't really do it justice. And of course, a lot of people pay him in cash. So when his mum, I mean, my lad's 30 odd, and he's got his own son and whatever. His mum said, "Why don't we all go on holiday together so that I can be your babysitter and whatever, and we don't have to go. We can be in the same complex." Good idea, Mum. I'll go pay the deposit. So he goes along with his bundle of money and he pays his deposit. And then when it comes to paying for the rest of the holiday, he went along with another bundle of money and he paid it all off. And then they went bust. So he's then trying to get his money back through the scheme thing, $2,500. And they said, sorry, we can't give it to you. You need to prove where you got the cash from. Right. And he went, you can fuck off. You didn't fucking ask me where it come from when I gave it to you. How do we know you're not money laundering? And he went, from a company that's just gone bust? Really? And you're fucking asking me? So then he's going, Dad, how do I get my money back? How do I get my money back? So I just wrote down, Danny, just write this on a piece of paper and stick it under somebody's nose. I require immediate return of my property. Just tell him that will be the basis of your legal case, and you're going to see a solicitor as soon as you leave here. He walked out with his money.
in cash?
Actually, he didn't walk out with his money. They did him a bank transfer.
Well, you see, you should have demanded cash.
Yeah, and I would have demanded cash. I would have demanded. I mean, I've been in shops where they go, "Oh, I'm sorry, we don't take, we don't take cash. You've got to pay by card." I go, "I'll tell you what. Why don't you stick it up your ass and fucking keep it?" If a company will not take cash, if I'm stood somewhere physically and they won't take cash, I don't care if I've got 100 things. It's just not happening. I'm not paying for it.
But you know, cash is going to have the coronavirus on it. And I said this many years ago. And I think if you go back to the very early days of this Raconteurs news, back in the day when it used to be me and Andy, and I think we had a guy on called, it was from the Sirius report. And we ended up calling him the CIA Rius report because we thought he was pretty fucking dodgy. But I said, what they'll do is, to get rid of cash, is they'll have a virus so that they can say, right, well, we're going to get cash out, take all your cash, pop it into the bank, and, and so that you can infect the bank tellers that probably won't be wearing masks like bus drivers and that because they're immune from it. But, and then put it all in thing and then just use your card from now on, and you won't be able to use cash at a shop.
Yeah.
So,
well, over the years when I've gone to different countries, when I went to Morocco, you can't actually, it's a closed currency. So you can go to Morocco, but you can't get their money before you get there. And it's illegal to leave their country with any of their currency. So what people tend to do, they tend to swap a relatively small amount of money just in the hotels, because all the hotels are exchange. When you go to Egypt, when you go to Thailand, you can get your money over here, but the exchange rate is diabolical. I mean, not just a bit bad, it's shit. So the best thing to do is take English cash with you. Now, the problem you've got at the moment is because we're in a changeover of notes, apparently the Thais are not accepting the old 20s or the new one that I had a minute ago. They're just going, now we're not accepting any of them because it's too confusing. We can't work it out. So we're only accepting tenors. So the only way to get a decent exchange rate is to take cash, but in tenors. When I went to Egypt, and this has got a few years ago, and loads of people go to Egypt every year. I only went once, I quite like me arse not to be sick every morning and 20 times a day. So I choose not to go back again. But when I went to get my money...
You quite like your arse, but still you go to Thailand.
Yeah. But when I went to get my money from the local exchangey thing, it's the only currency that I've ever got from one of these bureau de change things where the first thing they do is put rubber gloves on, right? I'm not joking, and spray the money before they'll even pick it up. The Egyptian one, because they reckon their money is that filthy. And even the women in the woman who worked in the exchange would not touch it with her bare hands. And she put it in a plastic bag and sealed it. And you know when they normally go, have a lovely holiday, she went, good luck. So, yeah, but I won't go back to Egypt again because I quite like not having the shits when I'm on holiday.
Well, there you go then. I think most people would agree with you that having the shits when you're on holiday is it can take the edge off the holiday, don't it? It doesn't spoil it completely, but it takes the edge off it.
Yeah,
you know, a little bit. I remember when I were in Egypt, not in Egypt, in Turkey, and the hotel that we were in were really plush. It was shit, but it were really plush, and it had got all marble and everything and all this sort of thing, and. It got a revolving door, and I went in revolving door, and then went out wrong. I tried to get out the wrong place and knocked myself out. So I don't like Turkey.
I have just noticed something. Somebody's put blazing stars. Lick the notes to build up your immune system. Yeah, that's good. But no, somebody said about cocaine. Now, and I'm aware that having worked in nightclubs, I've walked into many a toilet to find a £20 note rolled up like this and somebody sticking it up the nose. You know, that's no surprise in a bloody English nightclub. I'm just wondering what the plastic ones are like. Because surely with it being plastic, you can wipe the coke residue off easier. I mean, I don't know. I don't use the stuff, but they reckon...
That's where the licking of your note comes in, mate.
That could be it, couldn't it? That could be the licking of the note thing, yeah.
It's probably to stop people wiping their asses on £20 notes. Because it's going to be quite slippy in it, and it's going to
it's like that toilet paper we had at school, that mate.
Like Eisel toilet paper,
tracing paper.
Yeah, that's the one. The one that's like wiping your ass on half a milk bottle.
Yeah, 40 grit.
You just spread shit everywhere. Never took any shit off you.
Anyway, lads, we've got about 20 minutes left. We've got to fill this because we're contracted to by YouTube. To do 2 hours. All we've been talking about recently is Aid's been wondering how the new £20 note aids the coke going up your nose. So we all know where he's at the moment.
Bloody don't. I've never used the stuff.
What, £20 notes?
The only coke I ever used was on 6 o'clock on a Sunday morning when I used to have to build the fire at home. Because the first central heating we had were coke, smokeless coke.
I remember that. It were we were a coking plant at Orgreave, weren't it? Where they had that right, Yes. So as things over your side of the Pennines, I mean, what about, is there many issues like fracking? That seems to have disappeared. Ian Crane's started going on about 5G, and we've got Steele and Garrett still going on about 5G and talking out of their asses like as fucking pair of fucking clowns. So how's it over your side? And are people still going to be talking about, still going to be listening to Garrett and Steele?
Nobody who I know at least anyway, knows who Mark Ceylon or Lee Garrett are. But that's nothing new. It's still quite a sleepy town, but it's certainly got its issues that are raising eyebrows now. We've had a local guy, some Eastern Europeans moved into his street, and the story goes that the kids had no shoes on their feet, no socks. There was no carpets in the house that they were getting benefits paid on. This guy and his family had taken them to Asda, done a bit of shopping for them, given them some bits of, furniture, carpets, all this kind of stuff. But because the kind of vulnerable Eastern Europeans, they've been latched onto by local drug users who use their place as a foothold, if you like, in the community. And prostitution's been going on from around that area, drug taking. There was a local college that's been shut down now. That got reported by this guy when all this stuff was started to kick off. And the police went in to this shut down college, stopped the prostitution and the drug taking going on in there, removed 2.5 tons of rubbish and probably the same amount of tonnage in rats. But when these Eastern Europeans, the gangs who got the foothold through the drug users, when they realised that their business was being shut down and it was because of this guy, they went and banged on his door with 30 of them with knives and machetes that they were going to kill the white guy. That's a nice way of putting it. There was all kinds of other words used. Police were phoned. Guess who got arrested?
Go on.
The guy who phoned them. So no, there's a couple of Eastern Europeans who did get arrested, but they got bailed and they've now gone back to their country. Whereas this guy, John, he's still, he's got another court date coming up in the next couple of weeks. It is looking a bit more positive for him because they've managed to get the CCTV. They weren't willing to divulge the CCTV. And everything was being blamed on John being racist, all this about, we had local councillors, MPs who were going for the vote. Obviously you saw that we ended up going Tory, which is like, that's anathema to this town. So that's how desperate people were getting here. But Labour, through that race, people from my town didn't want to be associated with the EU, and Labour was campaigning to keep people in the EU. So it was a no-brainer for a lot of people because what was coming with that was more of what we were getting. But it was easy that the police were almost trained to hone in on John and not the others. It's almost policy to not take on ethnic minorities now. John is racist because John's white and he'd reported some people. Are
you talking about there's this thing that the police describe as cuckooing, where people will go in and perhaps on a vulnerable person's house on the property start dealing drugs and doing.
Yeah,
is that what we're talking about here?
Exactly. Yeah, cuckooing. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's exactly where it happened. In fact, it was only the other night I saw a clip on police camera action or whatever it was, police interceptors, and he was talking about this. He said, "This is what happens." He says, "It's the gangs are like cuckoos." He says they go into somebody else's nest and take that over, and then they deal from there. And that's what was happening. They were doing prostitution, and that got shut down, and it was because this guy reported them. But when the ethnic minorities were kicking up a fuss, the police and that were, you have to say, because of their actions, it was like they were being directed away from, pick on anything but the ethnics. That's how it seemed to go, and that's how the court case has gone. But he's got himself a bit of support because out of all that, he couldn't live with his own wife. He had to go and live at his mum's, which is in a different district. He couldn't stay at he's back at home now, but that's only after 2 court cases. This is getting beyond the joke. You've the LGBTQ History Month thing. That's now offending. Well, it's not just offending, it's shitting and pissing on women from big heights. They're saying that the definition of a woman being a human female is offensive. It's offensive.
Why is it offensive?
You tell me, Ed. You tell me, but that's
as a man, the female form is a very beautiful thing, but that doesn't mean to me that it's an. I'm not objectifying something.
You offend a trans female because you may not find that attractive, and because you don't find that attractive, you wouldn't date her, and therefore that's discrimination.
No, I don't fancy it because she's got a cock.
Well, that's not how it looks on paper, mate.
You can identify as a fucking penguin, but you know, if you're a jug, you're a jug. If you're a bottle, you're a bottle. You can identify as what the fuck you like. But
You
see, it's dead simple. You cannot say that you're not black if you're black. You can't say that you're not white if you're white. It's not a choice. I didn't choose to be born white and fat. I am white and fat. I do choose to sit here and have a drink. Now, you could argue that if my sexual nature was
deviancy, that's what you should have said.
Yeah. If I was sexually attracted to men, you could say that was a choice, I guess. A gay man would probably argue with that. But being white and male isn't a choice. It just is what I am. It's not a choice. So for me to say, oh, well, I identify as, that's a fucking choice. It's not what you are. It's a choice.
Yeah, but what if they really believe it, Ed?
I don't care what he believes. I can believe that I'm as black as Owen, but I'm not. Owen's a black guy.
You have the right to be as
Owen.
black as Owen.
You what, sorry?
You have the right to be as black as Owen.
No, I don't, because I'm not. It's not a right.
That's not what it says on paper, mate.
It's not a choice. But the fact is, Owen's a really nice black kid. I love him to bits, right? But calling him black is on your description. It's not an insult. And calling me white in an insult, it's just a fact. It's what I am. It's not a choice.
Well, actually, AD is now identifying as a deviant.
Hey!
I agree.
Well, I'm not now, but a week on Saturday I will be. But
No, it's getting. Did you read that, Webby? The RFU were doing having a meeting on how they were going to deal with the transgender female rugby players. So they're having a meeting. So what do we do? I don't know. I don't know what the outcome was, but they were having a meeting to say how. Sorry, to decide how they were going to treat transgender players, because it's going to ruin women's sport, isn't it?
Well, they've already started. I know in some states in America they've passed legislation that it's the biological at birth. That's the only thing you can participate in.
That's what it should be.
It should be, because if you're talking sport, I know it gets very competitive, but these are meant to be games at the end of the day.
A level playing field.
When you've got a DJ who can identify as a woman one morning and beat 2 or 3 weightlifting records of females just by identifying, as long as your testosterone is a certain level, this is ridiculous. The stuff that is being talked about has been absolutely and utterly ridiculous. I posted an article a couple of days ago where at a drag queen story time, a man in drag with short shorts on virtually did a lap dance for a 5-year-old girl. The parents were cheering and clapping. What the fuck is that got to do with a 5-year-old? You've even got drag queens coming out saying, what are these fucking parents mad taking the kids to a drag queen show? Fucking bonkers.
You see, the problem I've got with that, Webby, is if you've got a man going into a school dressed as a man to read a story, I ain't got a problem with that. If you've got a woman dressed as a woman going into a school to read a story, I ain't got a problem with that. If you've got a man dressed as a woman who, chooses to do that, I haven't got a problem with that. What I've got a problem with is a drag queen which dressed as girl, which is what drag means, but it's a sexualized character. Yeah, that's what I've got the problem with. Because by the very nature of a drag queen, having worked in, nightclubs where there are drag queens working, and I've worked with them. I mean, Nev, his real name, he's from your neck of the woods, actually, Roxy Duval. Hilarious, absolutely fantastic entertainer, better legs than any woman I've ever seen. Where he used to tuck things, I ain't got a frigging clue, but he looked amazing, absolutely amazing, right? But he was a sexualized character, and that's his persona on stage. I ain't seen Nev for donkey's years, probably 20 years, and I'm assuming he's still doing what he does. His boyfriend, or maybe his husband now, was his manager. But I wouldn't have been comfortable with Nev going in to a school dressed as a woman to read a story. But
I don't think Nev would have been.
But if Nev went into a school dressed as himself, just being his normal camp flamboyant self, because all he was what he was naturally, he was just 10 times that on stage, right? Because that's his persona. But if he went into a school to read a story as Nev in a pair of jeans and a white t-shirt, not a problem. But if he goes into a school to read a story as a sexualized character, that's the problem. Because
Acting
the kids
sexually as well.
shouldn't be sexualized. And that's the issue with it, for me.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that I don't like gay people. I bloody care what you are.
But that's
what effect it has on children.
That's what the gays, the lesbians, and women are saying. That I mean, the gays that are already saying that they get a bad rap as it is. I mean, yeah. I've had gay lads say to me, "Paedophiles, we get a bad rap because of paedophilia," yeah. And now these people are normalising the sexualisation of children. Apple has just posted about what about Desmond is amazing. I don't know I think we've spoke about this anyway, guys, but he's 10 or 11-year-old kid who was on Good Morning America being held up as this ambassador for 10 or 11-year-old children to come out to be as gay as they want to be and do what they want, whilst he's cavorting up and down a stage with grown men putting dollar bills in his pants while he's acting like Gwen Stefani. That to me is an agenda that's being pushed. And
the kid's being abused.
Yes.
There's no agenda. There's no agenda, Webby.
Hey, we've been told, but the CPS has said, the Child Services investigated his parents, said there was nothing to answer for. He was in a gay nightclub on stage acting like Gwen Stefani with semi-naked men putting dollar bills in his pants. I don't know in what world that's right.
It's
no, It is right. It's not right at all. Listen, schools are schools. You go in there and you get read stories. I remember, I think in junior school, I would read Tolkien and stuff like that, and you'd have story time, and it'd be the teacher that would telling the story. And of course, you were already used to a voice, so it sort of send you into a trance, and you'd be listening to it. But then, if they said, "Oh, by the way, here we go. This is Brian, but Brian is dressed up as Brianna tonight, and here he is, and he's going to start. First of all, he's going to do a dance and a few cards out for you to give your parents, and then he's going to tell you a story. I mean, it's just complete and utter ridiculous."
The other thing that they do, by the way, of course, all of these drag queens have got their own websites, because how else are they going to get bookings? So, of course, these kids go home from school. First thing they do, turn the tablet on when they get home, and they Google search, get the website of the drag queen that's been to their school that day. And next thing you know, they're on the bloody website. These are kids, children.
Wake up, people. This is what's happening now. We are under pressure. We are a code red.
Hey,
listen. You're so transphobic, guys. You're so transphobic.
Yeah. 5G is going to make everybody trans. Okay. 5G. Oh, where's my glasses? Hang on. I'll do it here. Do it now. 5G is going to make everybody transphobic. And you've got to believe me as a weapons expert from 1949 to 1978 that this fucking stuff is going to kill yous. It's going to kill yous. It's going to make your nose bleed. like you fucking never known in your fucking life.
I'd just like to say that this is not. It's not the Mark.
Like it.
It's not the Mark Steele show. It's the not Mark Ceylon show.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Mark Ceylon.
It's the not. Oh no, it's the not Mark Ceylon show. But it could be the not Mark Ceylon show and not Mark Steele show, but not Mark Steele made an appearance.
We're going to have to go. We've got 5 minutes left, so 5 minutes. Webby, give us something for 5. You've got 4 minutes and 30 seconds because, like, out things are 30 seconds long. You know the out titles thing.
Well, one thing I was going to bring up, but forgot.
We can go over
to see when you was going on about when you were in Turkey and that. Now, Turkey's taking a prominent role at the minute over in the Middle East with Syria. They shot down another Syrian plane in Syrian airspace. If that's not a declaration of war over there, I don't know what is. You know, they've taken Israel's bombing over there. The Americans are we're being told they're doing fuck all over there apart from protecting oil fields. So they're in another country as well. We're always on the peripherals. If we're not there officially, we're there. So the thing is, what's going on now? Because Turkey are threatening to put all these migrants onto buses and give them free access to Greece. So Greece are now arming their borders on the Turkish side. What's going on? Is that what the coronavirus is distracting us from? Is it really distracting us from just Prince Andrew? You know, we haven't got a fucking clue what's going on. But all that stuff is going on right now while somebody's probably watching football, watching Love Island, I don't know what.
Yeah.
No, so Leeds said, oh, tell Webby it gets worse, Liverpool lost 2-0. It's only a fucking game. It's a
exactly.
game. It's a beautiful game. I love very much. But
who are you playing anyway?
Chelsea in the FA Cup.
Oh,
It's not like he's put a shit team out. He's put a decent team out, but we needed a couple of batterings because we've been awful since we come back from the break. But at the end of the day, it's only a fucking game. It's a game that had ruined my life 10 years ago. But when you go through stuff and you learn things, and you can't unhear something that you've heard. So you go and look. And then the more you look, the more it backs up what you've already got told in the first place. You just flesh it out and it gets meatier and meatier until you go, fucking hell. And that football game is to keep me distracted. That's my opiate. That's me working all week to just get to that final, guts, get to that weekend, get pissed and start it all over again Monday. But
then again, if your team loses, you've got to go home and beat your wife up.
Apparently so.
And I'm not being flippant. You know, I'm seriously not being flippant. You know, my brother, another police, my brother's an ex-copper, but other coppers that I've spoken to, you know, they said they knew when they were going to have a bad Saturday evening if the local football team had lost and they'd have a load of domestic violence stuff come in. Because the guy go to the pub, get pissed with his mates, go home. His missus would say the tiniest thing like, do you want a cup of tea or coffee? You know, bang. And that's what she'd get for not realising that actually he wanted another beer. Because that's how it gets you.
I know people who will get into fights and when your team have played and they've got beaten well, and they've been shite, this lad would still declare him being the best team in the country, if not the world, and he would offer anybody out and would fight over it. And I get what you're saying, Ed, because I have those feelings, those tribal, instinctive feelings that somebody's offended your tribe by beating at your own ground. You know, I can get what that feeds.
A couple of weeks ago, my team were playing atrocious. I mean, crap. And they were losing to the worst team in the league.
Real game. It's not a real team. It's not a real game.
It is. It's better than that shit thing. Oh, hang on a minute. Let's wait 20 minutes and see if somebody scores. That's football.
See, ice hockey is football with a lot less rules are a lot more physical. It's exactly
You
the same
can't see
otherwise.
fucking ball. You can't see ball. It moves too fast. Fucking ball. They all start cheering, and you look and you think, "What the fuck?"
Exactly.
Is it back at net? Is it? I didn't see the cunt. Go on. Anyway,
my point is this: the other team scored, and I stood up and clapped, and everybody around me was looking at me, and I went, "What's wrong with you lot? We deserve to lose because they're playing shit, and it should be like a salesman. If you don't sell out, you don't get paid. If you don't win, you don't get paid. That'd be an incentive."
And now there's quite a there's quite a waiting list for tickets that are miles away from where Adi sits.
Yeah. But honestly, you know, and I've even stood and went, they deserve to lose that because they played shit. I'd rather watch a good hockey game that we lose than a shit hockey game that we win. I would, because I like the game. I've got a dog in the fight, but, you know, I want it to be a good game that I'm entertained by watching, not just like bloody goals going in because the referee made a shit decision and he was a tosser that happened to win our favour.
What's it cost to get in there into like skidding?
About 15 quid.
15 quid, that's no, is it?
Yeah.
That's no.
No. But look, we all have our own little passion. I've always hated sport, never really meant much to me. 20 odd years ago, discovered ice hockey and that, and it just kind of did it, and I've no idea why, because no other sport ever has. When I was a kid, I used to get dragged out of bed on a Sunday morning to watch my dad and his mates kick a ball around, swear at each other, and then get drunk in a pub. And me stood there in the cold thinking, what the fuck am I doing here? So when I went to school and they said, we're going to play football, I'm like, yeah, right, of course you are. I'm not. We're going to do cross country. Sir, where do we finish? Here. Sir, where do we start? Here. Sir, I'm already here. I'm not fucking doing it. And that was my whole thing with sport. Hated it. Boring. Pointless.
You must have got right done.
Oh, I did. Go stand outside the headmaster's office. All right, then it's better than running 5 miles in the cold. Not a problem.
You see, we were a bit more creative. What happened were, on our cross country, I hated cross country. I was a really good athlete and I was a really good sprinter. And I represented school in different fucking, you know, county things and that. And I won Rotherham School's fucking title, 100 meters. But I hated fucking cross country. And our cross country, it went round the big field. It went round the big field and then it went down. Then it went out into this, through these woods, and it went into this place called Thropeham.
Yeah, I know Thropeham.
And then it went round somewhere else, and then it came back through Thropeham. So what we did is we fucking ran round, got to woods, stopped, and then when fucking because when kid who'd fucking were in lead came past, we dragged him down and fucking started running a sentence, and we ran up to fucking line. Everyone stood there cheering. Ran up to line and we fucking won. Of course, we got caught and fucking got right out for it.
You see, I had a problem in that everybody else who's dressed in a white pair of shorts and a white shirt and a pair of white trainers doing cross country looks the same, unless you're the fattest kid in the school. So I couldn't bunk off. So I didn't have that facility of being able to hide and wait till the kid come round. Because they'd go, we didn't see you out on the field, and they'd know that I weren't there. So I used to just go, I'm not doing it. And when they said, but you've got to do it, and I used to go, really? But I'm not doing it. You don't understand. I am not doing it. You can ring me mum, you can ring me dad, you can ring who the fuck you like. I'm not doing it. And I didn't do it.
Super Leeds has just popped in chat room. He says, are you going to do the Paralympics, Jace? Fuck off. Fucking, I'm not fucking...
You get asked that a lot, though, don't you? You get that asked a lot, don't you? You know, when you go into restaurants and stuff like that. Oh, I bet you've been watching the Paralympics, haven't you?
Fuck it, that was it. Invictus Games. Have you been watching Invictus Games? No. Why? Well, it's same reason as it's same reason as like I don't associate. It's for the same reason. I won't go in Paralympic Games because it separates me from everything else, right? Yeah. It says I'm not good enough, but I'll do another thing. I've got a disability, and that's fine, right? And I've got no problem with people that do, but I don't associate myself with other people with disabilities. I associate myself with people who I know and people who are around me. So it's not like I'm disabled. It's like I'm just like this. I'm out of people that I know. I'm only one with one leg. I mean, that's how I see it. So I won't be going in fucking Paralympics.
I would never describe Jace as my one-legged mate. I'd say he's my mate who's bald, ugly. But do you remember that Beckham thing? He was the twat that got fucking all wrapped up in that. That's how I'd describe him.
Fucking ugly.
Yeah.
Ugly. What's the matter with your fucking glasses, man?
Hey, I've had my magnifying glass out tonight, pal.
Oh. You having a wank?
No, I've got a bigger one in the kitchen for that.
What's his name?
Sorry?
What's his name?
Bob. No, just to point out, of course, and a lot of people know, I mean, my daughter's gay, and I love her to bits, absolutely love her to bits. And all she ever says is, what's all this bloody gay rights shite? She says,
you say this every time, mate.
Yeah, but why? It's not about being special. It's just about being. It don't matter, does it? Just about being yourself. Why?
Of course it is.
Just
but don't get fucking put into something.
Yeah.
I don't want to be put into labeled disabled or I prefer handicapped. You know what I mean? I'd prefer to be called handicapped, but nobody will call me handicapped. So if you're not going to call me handicapped, then please don't call me anything. You know, don't put me into a little fucking.
So you want to identify as Andy and not Jason now? You want to identify as Andy and not Jason?
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, no.
Handicap.
I'm going to go get a fancy dress and dress up as handicap with a flat cap and a woodbine.
Fucking ridiculous. Everything's.
I think you're more Sid the Sexist me than handicap.
I'm more like fucking Finbar Saunders.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
Yeah. Right, I think we're done. We've done 2 hours and 7 minutes. Unless you boys are keen to carry on.
No, I just the one thing I do want to say is, look, don't believe the hype.
Don't believe the hype.
And it don't matter what it is. It don't matter whether it's Prince Andrew. It don't matter whether it's fucking something 19 COVID fucking. It don't matter. It's just a hype, and you can tell because if it's on the telly, it's probably not true. And that's what people forget. Because at the end of the day, somebody put in the chat room earlier, what if you took away the internet and how would we communicate? I'd love it. Do you know if we didn't have the internet and we didn't need to do this, and we just had, like we had 20 odd years ago, 30 years ago, our own little circle of friends, wasn't it peaceful? Nobody were trying to identify as something they weren't. Everybody had their own mates, and it were great. But now, all everybody wants to be is a victim.
Well, the thing is, what the internet's done, it's never connected so many people so quickly.
Yeah.
But people have never been more alone.
Yes, exactly right.
Yeah, and the more that they see other people doing things, and when they're not, the more alone they feel, and that's something that's not easy to be able to deal with, because you're sat there and you're thinking, well, let's just say me in particular, right? People on my fucking Facebook, they're doing all sorts of stuff. When I'm sat on my fucking settee, I've got my one leg, I've got this other fucking leg that's really, really getting better. It's on the mend, and I'm sure I'll be on my prosthetic soon. But when I look at that things, I always think to myself, I've done enough in my life. I did enough. I did more. I fitted 3 fucking lives in with what I'd done. You know, fucking
Me and all. Yeah.
clean. You just rocks. Fucking me and Eve. These what a pair of silly cunts, right? You know when you've got fucking you're on coast and we're on coast in Dorset and we're on top of this cliff, right? And it's all grass. And then there's this, like, you know, one of them things that sticks out at water. It's like a piece of rock, and it's got a bit of grass on top of it. Well, it would just a jump away, so we jumped onto it, right? But it was down. So we jumped onto it, and then we couldn't fucking jump back up because it was lower. It was lower than what we'd, you know, from where we jumped. So there was no way we could jump back.
You didn't process this information before jumping.
No, this is 2 imbeciles who were clearly a lot younger than their actual age.
And the fucking the water's crashing below, and you know, up against rocks and everything. It's really crashing away. It's not that bad, but it's really crashing. And you're thinking, if I end up in there, I'm fucked, you know. And anyway. We sort of like made the decision. We were sat there thinking, what the fuck we're going to do? I mean, we could stop on this rock forever. There's not much to fucking catch because it weren't very big. It were only sort of about the size of an house, you know, the wideness, the size of an house. And anyway, I says, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to run and jump and cling on to the fucking rock face. And then try and climb up,
like a Klingons as well.
so that's what I did. I fucking ran and jumped, and I clung onto rock face. Just managed to stick on, and then I started fucking climbing up. When I got up to the top, and then Eve did the same. And I remember that's how we're climbing up. And then this piece of grass were hanging down. And so I grabbed onto grass, and I'm hoping that this grass don't come out of the ground, you know, this big long grass thing, and it didn't, and it helped me. It pulled me up, and I got to the top. And then Eve did the same, and I helped him up. But, you know, it's situations like that. And I mean, that were when we were 18. So at that point could have ended my life. My life could have been ended. And so all I'm saying is that I've done fucking shit in my life. And, you know, and now I can't. There's a lot of stuff I can't do, but I will be able to do it in future. But, you know, you've just got to fucking look back on what on fucking good times. I'm sure Eve will remember that. I'm sure Eve will remember
in the chat room, near-death experience.
Let me tell you now, Jace, I guarantee if you try and run and jump and cling to that cliff with only one leg, you're going to struggle this time round, mate.
I'm going to struggle running, aren't I?
You're going to struggle to cling on and then climb up, man.
Dear.
Well, I get what you're saying there. Everybody's, I mean, my life, the stuff I've done in my life before the last 12 years, it feels like a different lifetime. You know, things have changed so much for me. It's I don't know how you would look at it. It's almost like that man died and this man was reborn to what I am. And I've lost a lot of what I thought were good friends. But it certainly weeded the ones out there I didn't need in my life. And the ones that have stayed are the ones that want to stay.
I think it's a case of, I mean, there are things that Jason and I don't agree with. There's things that me and Webby don't agree with. But we all know one thing, and that's that all the shit that the official line is exactly that. It's shit. And you just got to work out your own thing that you think is right for you. And it's got to be ever changing. Because if it's not ever changing and ever evolving, what are you learning? What are you learning? Nothing.
The thing is, though, it's being the only sane man in the lunatic asylum, and you've got lunatics telling you you're the nutter.
Yeah.
You know, people who have said to me, bills of exchange is nonsense. And I went, have you read it? No.
Yeah.
Do you understand anything about what bills of exchange is? How the debt-based economy works? No, not interested. then how can you say that that is nonsense? If I've got information you've never read, don't understand, and you've just said you don't even bothered about, if you don't know that stuff, what's the difference to me coming out from the outside into your house and saying, listen, mate, if you're going out, put a coat on, it's raining, you'll get wet. And you tell me to fuck off, you're a dickhead, and you go out with no coat on, you get wet. And you just justify getting wet.
Yeah.
When you could have used other information. And I've had people say to me, well, how can you ask people to just stop paying the bills when you don't just stop paying everything? I never tell people to stop paying the bills. I tell people to go and learn this stuff. And then when there's enough people that we don't all just get picked off and targeted, because, I'll hold my hands up. I nearly died twice in the last 10 years, not through doing anything, just because I was a beaten man because of these fuckers. But I had to know how they'd done it. I found out information that people don't know. And that's what I do now. I put the information out for nothing. Don't call me names. Read it. Accept it. Don't accept it. Don't read it. Fuck off.
Yeah.
That's it. It's got to be, because I remember, Adi, when it was probably when you interviewed me the first time, I was just coming out the phase of holding people by their ears and headbutting them with every word of the bills of exchange. Yeah. And it's a horrible time, because you tend to take over the people when I got asked, how are you, Webby? And an hour and a quarter later, he said, listen, I'm going to have to finish my shopping, mate.
Yeah.
Because I've been going on about bills of exchange and your gas water and like blah, blah, blah.
I can't talk to my brother about this because he's an ex-copper, and of course he knows fuck all about law.
It was an ex-copper that trolled me, funnily enough.
Yeah. My sister, if I say anything she'll just go to her husband, he's a conspiracy theorist. And I go, yeah, whatever. And I just sit and shrug my shoulders, and I just think, yeah, whatever. But when the Titanic's fucking sinking, you'll still be on it. I'll be swimming away. You'll fucking still be on it, whatever.
You'll be swimming away in fucking water that cold? I don't think so.
Well, I might be in the dingy.
I think you'll be like one of the servicemen on the boat who had, I think he downed 2.5 or 3 bottles of brandy, and he was that fucking pissed. He stayed toasty, he stayed alive in that water.
Because he'd pickled. George has made a really good comment. I like this. Act like a dumb shit and they'll treat you as an equal. I like that.
Webby, something you said earlier on that I was going to say something about, and as it's been about 15 seconds, I've fucking forgotten about it. Oh no, that's what I was on about. When you were talking about you were taking people, you got to a point where you were taking a lot of people's stuff on, when you were helping people and people were ringing you up and you were talking about bills of exchange and it were taking over your life. In a way, you were taking part of their stress away from them and putting it on yourself as well, weren't you? Yeah. I mean, if you're doing something for somebody, they suddenly get this sort of like, oh, well, Webby will sort it, and there's a weight off the shoulders, but that weight off that shoulders then goes onto your shoulders.
Well, they also tend to attack you because they're not getting the results that they want.
Yeah.
If you do something for people, there is nothing as fickle as people. The general public are fickle people, and they want to see results. They want you to give them the template where they only have to sign it or something like that, and like magic, all the bills disappear.
Yeah, it's like
you've got to put the work into this stuff.
It's like they just kind of go, here, give me everything, but here's all the responsibility. You can have it.
Yeah. Well, I won't take responsibility. Something as simple as water. They're going to the land registry and putting charges on people's property. If you own your property, you're going to struggle, because these people, unless you become claimants and get the right kind of judge, and believe me, there are judges and barristers and solicitors in the system that want to help, But if you want them to put their pension and everything on the line, then you've got to go in with the correct remedy and present it. Anything that you are iffy about, they are going to pack your house into a suitcase and send you off.
Yeah.
And if you don't know how to do that, if you don't know how to spot a jurisdictional challenge or anything like that, and you're relying on somebody else to do that, then you take too much on. You put yourself under a lot of pressure, and you're putting the people who've had the pressure took off them, they turn onto you. You know, I've seen people who claim to be experts in everything, right? And I know people who have got bench warrants out against them because they were listening to somebody who they'd paid for. You know, I don't want to be lumped into that. I have sat for hours. I've lost track of how many hours, even in the last couple of weeks, the amount of hours I've spent talking to people and explaining what a bank gyro is, what a joint gyro credit check is, showing them, sending them the documents, sending them the clearance bank PDFs so they can read how this stuff works for themselves. But they don't want that, most of them. They want you to just go, no, what button do I press? And it'll go, no. Well, nobody has shown me that button, and nobody pressed that button for me, because you've got to do it for yourself. Nobody came and did this stuff for me. And
I mean, when Jason was stood in court for his speeding thing, and I'm stood shouting, "This is a load of bollocks," and I think we ended up in court 4 or 5 times, and in the end, the judge says to Jason, "Look, you know, if we'd have just given you a 60 quidder, let's just do that," because the judge just wanted it to go away. He was absolutely sick to death of it, and in the end, that's what you do. But
we've been close
yeah,
on so many occasions with this stuff, Ed. We back in 2014, 2015, a guy had a High Court injunction against British Gas. Mm-hmm. And reading between the lines on the judge's summarization of granting the injunction, he said, "Come back in 2 weeks' time and tell me why I should keep this injunction in place, because this is a very interesting case." The judge understood what was going on, because it was the remedy, it was the bank gyro, it was the setting of the debt off. And out of all this, where British Gas wouldn't speak to this man, for 6 weeks, they would not speak to him. He got this injunction 9 times in one day. They contacted him. That's how important that was. The guy never turned up to tell the judge why the injunction should be kept in place, and the injunction was removed, and British Gas went about their business. And that one thing could have changed everything. The council tax case that we're on with now, that has already been taken to High Court once before in 2015. The guy who's running the case could not make it. Somebody went in his place. That somebody was offered, what do they call it? Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Made an offer. Okay. Can we make you an offer? Can we make you an offer? What's the offer? Would you be willing to pay £1 a month for council tax? She said yes.
Oh.
End of case. End of case.
Yeah, if you just said no,
she still only pays £12 a year, Ed.
Yeah, I know, but if she'd have just said no,
that's why we had to start. That's why we had to start the case all over again.
Yeah,
and they learned so much from that case. The office boy who was working with the council in that case is now the Northwest area manager for council tax, because they learned so much from that case, and he learned, and they said, "Are you willing?" They basically said to him, "If you're willing to play ball about this," because he learned that we were being charged for living in a commercial property. Simple as. Well, if you want to keep that secret, you've got to, butter a few pounds. And this guy was ace at our tribunal last year. He split the properties for us. He explained what the composite hereditament was, being a wholly commercial property with a wholly domestic aspect. That's prison, hostel, hospitals, farmhouses, shops, all commercial, everything to do with commerce. It was too easy. But again, it goes on those cases. If these cases are taken forward and lost, and they were still standing under the same case law, that had she not accepted that offer, the case law would have been proven as false.
Mm-hmm.
Supreme would have to repeal it. Then the claimant comes in and says, I'm not liable for this. And they have to prove we're liable. How can they prove you're liable? Well, you must live in a commercial property. Nothing commercial about it. But everything in this system has to be commercial. So that's why the courts are all involved.
You know, if you ring up as a loony and you ring the water people up and you say, I'm trying to work out if I should have a water meter or whether or not I should just stick with rateable value. There's only commercial properties have a rateable value. But the water companies assume that your property's got a rateable value until you tell them otherwise. So if you say, I've got a rateable value, it's not a commercial property, they go, and they'll try and push it and push it and push it. But most people won't even know what a rateable value is. A rateable value is only relevant to a commercial property.
That's why the Local Government Finance Act, Section 3 states there is no database locally or nationally that states there is any property that could be exempt from non-domestic ratings.
There you go. There's non-domestic. Yeah.
Non-domestic is commercial. So it doesn't. There is no list. There's no council tax list. No. There isn't one. It even says in their own statute that the list was abolished 3 years before that started in 1989. Yeah. So in 1992, when that act that refers to the list, there is no list. So it's all make-believe. But the justice system and the banking system can only have jurisdiction in commerce. So they will only recognise commercial agreements. That's why we're all corporatized. That's why we have all business tax codes. Do you remember the days, guys, where we didn't have postcodes? This was designed to bring all this stuff in, because they fucked up with the poll tax when they tried to charge 4 adults a commercial rate property tax, commercial tax on 4 adults. Everybody went on the streets and started fighting. Oh, we scrapped that now. Here's the Local Government Finance Act, commercial properties, just going back to the rates. So they realised they pushed the poll tax a little bit too quick. The people aren't quite asleep enough for that. But God knows where they are now, mate. Because the people I speak to are still people who think having no car insurance is a crime. You know, you can't debate with these people. They'd rather argue with you. Of course it's a crime. What do you mean he's no driving licence? That means that if nobody had driving licences, everybody would just be driving around willy-nilly. But are you saying that people...
You mean exercising their right to travel?
Yeah, are you saying, though, me having a driving licence makes me a better driver than this pass certificate that I got on the day I passed my test? If I don't get this driving licence, I'm not a capable driver. That's what you're saying. And you're saying everybody should have driving licences, but not everybody uses their car to make money on the road. So what are we doing? We're learning new information about a system that we know nothing about except for that's life. And who told us that? Who told us that? A bunch of liars. A bunch of fucking liars.
You get, are you the driver of this vehicle, sir? Yeah. Hang on a minute. Vehicle, commercial. Driver refers to a farmer driving his sheep through a village to a market to sell his sheep. Commercial. He's not asking you, are you operating the pedals and the fucking steering wheel? That's to mean to do this. To drive means to operate in commerce.
But our kids are taught basic English. Steering wheel, driver, driving, car, vehicle. Yes.
No, you're not.
Said yes. No, it's not vehicle. Basic English.
It's a private car, and I'm not driving. No, I'm just going about my daily business. Piss off.
But the coppers, you're not driving. Oh, you fucking dickhead, steering wheel in front of you. They're using the basic English that they were taught. The coppers don't understand law. It's not a requirement to understand law to be a copper.
Of course it's not.
Except for these new fuckers that are coming out, because they've got to know all the statutes and acts now verbatim, straight off the top of their head. So all these boys and girls are being taught fast track to get them into positions of management where people like you, I'd go, well, I don't think we can do that. Get him out of here.
I think Jason's was the best one. When he sat in the back of the police car and they said, Section 5, public order, and he just went, fuck off, I'm not in public. I'm in the back of your fucking car, you daft bastard. All words to that effect, wasn't it, Jason?
He could have claimed he was representing the public, but that would just get him in more trouble.
Yeah. Anyway, we've done 2.5.
We have done 2.5. I think it's time we wrap this up. I think some shit's gone off in chat room. I hope it can be resolved. If I find somebody apparently has named a protected witness in something, so I want to know what that is so that I can delete that. So if someone can let me know.
Jason, just delete the whole lot, mate. Just delete the whole lot.
Yeah. All right, I'll do that.
If it's for protecting somebody, blah blah, just delete the whole lot. It's not important.
Okay. Well, if I know who did it, I could just delete that. I could ban them, and then all their stuff would be deleted. He's talking rubbish, Jason. Anyway, 2.5 hours. Cheers, Webby, mate. Thank you very much for not being Mark Ceylon.
No, it's the not Mark Ceylon show and the not badly drawn boy show.
Bills of Exchange. The Bills of Exchange show.
No, you are from this day forward. You are known as Bill of the Exchange.
Bill of the Exchange family. I like that. It's got a good ring to it.
Yeah, boss.
Well, anyway,
I nearly handed Jason the toilet roll earlier with the background picture he put on.
Say that again.
I nearly handed you a toilet roll with the background picture that you put on earlier.
Oh, that were a cell. It were a prison.
Yeah, I know.
Cell.
I know. That's why I nearly handed you a toilet roll.
It didn't really work. It just didn't really work. It went really badly. I don't know what it is.
Not as badly as your song playing last night, mate. So you're on a roll.
Anyway, but look, back next week we've got what day have we got them on?
On Monday we've got Bex and Karen are coming back on because they want to talk about Jason?
Bills of Exchange.
No.
They want to talk about
pop music.
God, what do they want to talk about?
I can't remember what I honestly can't remember what the subject was. I wanted.
Was it 5G?
Can you tell how good we are?
Now look, I'm half pissed. What's your excuse?
Was it 5G?
I've had a fucking joint.
Well, I am.
And there's, do you want us to talk about something? It would definitely something. It would,
Bex, if you're listening, send me a text because.
That was it. It was about dementia care.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. For those that are not aware, Bex's dad was in the RAF for years. The family's down from around Newark, but he ended up being in the RAF, and he was up at Driffield, sort of North Yorkshire. Would it be West Yorkshire? What would that? I don't know. Anyway, he was up there, and what a lovely man to talk to when I first met him. And sadly, over the past couple of years, he's just gone down and down and down with dementia. You would think that's the biggest problem. The biggest problem is the lack of support, information, help, or anything at all to help the family just get through this. There's just nothing there. There is nothing there. And Bex's mum is 70-odd years old. She's about 5 foot tall. But, she is the strongest person I've ever met. But to see that happen to a dad is bad. But to see that happen to a dad when her mum is being destroyed by it without any help whatsoever from a system that's supposed to be there to help these people is soul destroying. It really is. And
So,
that's
no,
what she's going to be going for on Monday.
Because Ada's just given away the entire story. So
yeah, but only in about. That's what we're going to be dissecting on Monday.
That's what we're going to be talking about. Well, thanks to you, Webby. Cheers, mate. And thanks for coming on the Not the Mark Ceylon show. It'll be the Not Mark Ceylon show again on Monday because we've got Bex and Karen. I think we might call them all from now on, like have a subtitle.
Not the
Mark Ceylon show. So last word for you, Webby.
Just keep doing what you're doing, lads. Hopefully, I'll get a few shows on if I can get my ass into gear while I'm off work. I'm meeting up with a lad who said he could do a bit of tweaks on the show, as in software and computer-wise. Maybe even get some of my own music put on to stuff, just to try and jazz it up a bit. Try and get a couple of interviews done, but. All I could say is for people who are listening and watching is do some research. Go and look into this stuff. Call us dickheads all you like, but go and look into this stuff and see the coincidences that are just so apparent now. You're just talking about what Bex and that's going to be talking about on Monday. I tagged you in that this afternoon where Spain are introducing legislation to kill patients.
Yes,
We've
right,
had it called pathways for a long time, which is not really indistinguishable. They're both the same. So where does it end with that? I've even seen that people with depression are being offered the chance for euthanasia. Somebody who's depressed will fucking go snatch their hand off. So where does it stop? That's what people have got to open their eyes and look at.
Yeah, well, all for future shows. Well, thanks to everyone who's been in the chat room tonight. It's been lively. I think there's been a little bit of controversy in there. But thanks to Webby as well for stepping in when absent friends, shall we say, didn't decided that they didn't want to really come on.
Are you trying to say that Mark Ceylon won't come on our show 10 minutes after it agreed to?
Exactly.
Oh, no.
I know. It don't matter.
And we were going to ask him what happened to that 50 grand from that website, really, weren't we? But we never got a chance.
Well, maybe you could put that in an email to him. I'm sure he responds to them all. Right, take it easy, everybody. We'll see you all after dark on Friday night, and then on Monday with Bex and Karen, and I'll get a guest booked for Tuesday. So it's with a heavy heart that I say good night, and we'll see you soon.
Press the button, it's finished.
Are we not live? Are you sure?
No, we still is. He just haven't pressed the button. Kill it!
Tell you what, mate, you need to start sacking that production crew behind you.
Production crew? Turn it off! No, but